Welcome back to D20 Tactics. On this channel, I play Dungeons & Dragons with my friends, and we explore combat scenarios and play out the tactics used to defeat monsters quickly and safely, giving you more time to get back to roleplaying. I'm your host and Dungeon Master, Sarson0, and this week we have a recap of the dungeon recently completed by AzureWolf, BlindOracle, Fear No Equal, and LongFish. First, I'll replay the 6 encounters that made up the djinns and the elemental planes, and then we'll talk about the encounters that we thought deserve more commentary. If you recently watched those encounters, I'll put a timestamp to the start of the discussion in the description below. All of our heroes made it home after this one, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. The adventurers are traveling through the elemental planes, that is, the elemental planes of earth, air, water, and fire. They have to slay 4 djinns and their servants so that they can prevent them from causing mayhem on the outer planes around that. Is anybody pre-casting any spells at the start of the dungeon?
I will pre-cast Hero's Feast.
And is everybody coughing up 250 gold for their portion of it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
A creature that partakes of the feast gains several benefits. The creature is cured of all disease and poison, becomes immune to poison and being frightened, and makes all wisdom saving throws with advantage. Its hit point maximum also increased by 2d10, and it gains the same number of hit points. This benefit lasts for 24 hours.
Go ahead and roll that 2d10.
10 points.
Are you pre-casting any other spells at the beginning of the dungeon?
Yeah, I'll cast 8 as well.
And what level are you casting 8 at?
Level 4?
So everybody's going to pick up an additional 15 maximum hit points and additional 15 total hit points. That'll bring your total number of additional to 25. Anybody else pre-casting any spells?
I'm precasting mage armor.
Precasting punch things.
What are you punching?
Boards, doors, teammates, whatever it takes.
God.
So with that in mind, we're going to do hit points, abilities, spells, items in hand, starting with the cleric.
I have the +1 shield and the Staff of Python in my hand. I'm currently at 116 hit points, and I have 4 first level, 3 second level, 3 third level, 2 fourth level, and 2 fifth level spell slots remaining.
I have 128 hit points. I currently have Second Wind, Action Surge, and Indomitable all available to me. In hand, I've got a +1 Great Axe, and I'm also carrying a Ring of Jumping and a Circlet of Blasting.
I am carrying a short bow in hand and have no buttons or abilities to speak of. And 105 hit points.
I have 3 first level slots remaining, 3 second, 3 third, 3 fourth, 2 fifth, 1 sixth. In my hand is the Wand of the War Mage, and my book, my Arcane Recovery is still up, and I have 93 hit points. Couldn't break 100.
Monsters, abilities, items, and numbers. Initially, he said forebodingly, there is a single monster. That monster is a Dao. A Dao is a earth elemental djinn. The Dao are fairly tough. They have a high armor class of 18. They're immune to petrification. They can glide through earth, burrowing through non-magical unworthed stone, and do not disturb the material when they do so. This will be important later. They can spellcast a variety of spells. They have advantage on strength and dexterity saves against prone. They have multi-attack with a fist or a maul. The maul does a knockdown attack if it hits somebody. So that's what the Dao does for now. Probably going to get interesting later with some of their spellcasting abilities. After that, we're going to go to terrain. Terrain is fairly simple. There's a lot of impassable terrain. So the black areas, it's impassable terrain. It's enclosed, so you can't actually go through that. Take a look on the left side. There's some terrain that you can climb up on top of. The yellow areas are difficult terrain. It's climbing, so it'll just slow you down as you climb up it, unless you have your person who climbs at full speed, in which case you don't have to worry about that. Tactics. What do you guys think for tactics in this fight?
All right, so normally the plan would be to bait this guy out and just wallop him once he comes out into the open. I feel like that's maybe not going to be our best move here.
We can't box him in.
I kind of want us to be able to stay a little spread out, but I don't know if that's going to work.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the he said forebodingly. I have a sneaking suspicion that we're going to have to deal with stuff popping up on our back line at some point.
Yeah, well, that swimming through the earth thing kind of alerts me a little bit.
Yeah.
Try not to stay too close together, but don't be too far apart where you can't get to each other if need to be, I guess. Since we're going to probably have a lot of casters. How do you want to do counterspell? Do you want to say the spell, I'm countering, or...
That's a great question. Let's do this. When you cast a counterspell, you have to announce this level at which you're countering. And if you don't, it's assumed to be 3.
Roger that.
If that's all we have for tactics, let's go ahead and roll initiative.
Oh boy. This is true to form.
Anybody get higher than a 20? Anybody have between a 20 and a 15? 17 on the Dao.
Champion has a 15.
Who's got between a 15 and a 10?
13 for the rogue.
Cleric has a 12.
8 on the wizard. 3 on the owl.
We're going to start off with something a little bit cheeky. The Dao is going to start her turn by burrowing 30 feet into the ground and then cast a spell, Conjure Elemental, that takes 1 minute to cast. So, with that in mind, Fighter, it is now your turn.
Move me a full distance, a dash in towards the room where the Dow was.
After that, we go to the Rogue.
I would like to move on the diagonal to behind the rock and then hide. I can't fail this. It's a 30, just for posterity's sake.
After that, we go to the Cleric.
Move me south 5, dash me 5 more to the east. That's it.
Wizard and Owl.
Move me through the diagonal over 1 past the rogue there. And the dodge. And the owl's going to come right above me and just fly up.
Now we're going to go back to the Dow. The Dow is going to continue to cast a spell. It thinks it's invulnerable for the next 9 rounds. I don't see any way of you guys getting to it, but I could be completely wrong. So I'm going to say you guys have 9 rounds before it finishes casting its spell. Fighter, what do you want to do for 9 rounds?
I want to move into the room where it disappeared, and then I'll just dodge and get prepared, assuming you guys are going to follow.
BlindOracle, what do you want?
I'm going to follow the fighter's lead. Let's move in there, try and find a rock to hide behind, and we will assume that I take the 10. So it's a 23. And then ready to action to shoot if an adversary comes within line of sight.
LongFish, what do you got?
Move me to the cave's south entrance, and I will ready a Sacred Flame if any enemy pops up.
Then AzureWolf.
Yes, let's move west of the cleric to the west and call dodge.
And what's the Owl going to do?
He's actually going to be in the room, but just hovering up high and getting ready to swoop whenever his turn comes back around.
Can you move me 1 space to the east? If something attacks me, I want it to be in the rogue's line of sight.
So the Dow's turn comes up. The Dow finishes casting its spell. The spell it's casting is Conjure Elemental, and it conjures an Earth Elemental. Earth Elemental is going to get a 2 as his initiative. Adversary has appeared in front of you.
We will take the shot. We will pop out from stealth to do this. Does a 25 hit?
Connects.
Is there any reason I wouldn't get my sneak dice?
You have advantage. It doesn't have disadvantage. It looks good to me.
34 damage.
Cleric, I believe you also had a ready action.
Yes, Dex 17 save.
Fails.
16 points of damage.
That is a very unhappy Earth Elemental. And the Dow is going to move, burrowing through the ground at a speed of 30. That was the Dow's turn. And after that, we're going to go to the Fighter.
All right, let's open up with an attack on the Earth Elemental. Attack number 1, 24 to hit for 16 damage. Attack 2, 15 to hit.
Miss.
And attack 3, 28 to hit for 13 damage. And that'll be it for us.
After the Fighter, we go to the Rogue.
Bonus action sneak to hide from the Earth Elemental. A question, does this matter or can I just take the 10?
I'll let you know if you encounter a creature that has more than 23 passive perception.
You never know. Short bow shot, 21 to hit
21 hits.
for 35 points of damage. That's my turn.
After that, we go to the Cleric.
Sacred Flame the Elemental again. Dex 17 save.
He fails.
15 damage this time. Pass turn.
And after the Cleric, we go to the Wizard.
Let's firebolt. The roll is an 11.
Miss.
In turn.
Ow.
Let's give the fighter advantage.
And then back into the corner. Earth Elemental actually survived. I did not think he was going to be able to do that. So we're going to burrow and rotate around the Fighter to go after the Rogue.
Do I get an attack of opportunity?
He's never leaving within 5 feet of you. So no.
How is he finding me is my question.
You're not actually hidden right now.
No, I attacked and then hid.
No, you bonus action attacked first. Because you had been in hiding in the readied action, you took your shot, bonus actioned on your turn.
So let's do this. He's aware that the arrow came from that direction. He would need to be able to fully see you so that you don't have any manner of concealment in order to find you.
Yes.
What we're going to do is we're going to go back. We'll take the attack of opportunity to move all the way to there. So go ahead and fight her and don't crit me.
Rolling with advantage. That's a 27 to hit for 18 damage.
It's 17 hit points. All right, well, maybe that wasn't worth it. Maybe it was. That was my Earth Elemental. After the Earth Elemental, we go to the Dow. Dow is going to burrow to here, pop up out of the sand, attack the Wizard. I've got a Maul, so we're going to attack you with that. That'll be a 20 to hit you.
Okay. That's gonna hurt.
That's pretty good. 22 points of bludgeoning damage. You concentrating on anything?
No.
Go ahead and make a DC 18 strength check versus prone.
Oh, I'm totally gonna nail this. Oh, came close. 16.
And then the second attack has advantage because you're prone. 25 to hit.
Oh yeah, that's gonna hit.
Take 19. It'll provoke an opportunity attack. You have disadvantage. It's going to burrow into the earth over there. After that, we're going to go to the Fear No Equal.
Move me 2 spaces to the southwest, and I'm going to ready an attack with my great axe to hit anything within reach of me. And you guys should get over to me.
Blind Oracle.
Let's go to the opposite side of the rock and hide there, and I will take the 23. As a bonus action, and as a readied action, we will take a shot at the Dow if it pops out.
After the Blind Oracle is the Longfish.
Move me parallel to the fighter, ready a Sacred Flame if the Dow pops up.
After the Longfish is the AzureWolf.
Dan, and then let's move to the east and dodge.
After that, we go to the Owl.
Same thing, he's gonna come over here and just kind of hang up in the air somewhere and dodge.
After that, we're going to go back to the Dow and go after that Wizard again. So that'll pop out of cover. Thief, please take a shot.
26 to hit.
Hits.
For 30 damage.
Cleric, tell me about it.
Dex 17 save,
Fails.
11 damage.
And then we're going to take the swing at the Wizard. Wizard is dodging, so I'm going to take disadvantage. Lower is a 19.
I will pop shield there.
I'm going to do my second attack on the Cleric, because now it's the same AC. That's going to get a 15.
Double miss.
I can actually do this. I'll just leave. That was my action. After that, we're going to go to the Fear.
Move to the south of the wizard, and once again ready melee action to attack.
Blind Oracle.
Move 1 dot east, 1 dot north, and hide there. Readied action to take a shot at the Dow if it becomes visible.
Sounds good. Longfish.
I'll stay where I am. Sacred Flame if the Dow pops up.
And then after that, we go to the AzureWolf.
Kind of want to keep dodging because I think that's the smarter play here. Yeah, let's dodge.
Then after that, we go to the Owl.
Same thing, dodge.
Dow is going to burrow to there, take a hit from the Rogue.
Sure. 21 to hit
That'll connect.
for 29 points of damage. Is the Dow squeezing to pop up there?
It is not. That is difficult terrain in that spot, but it burrows, so it doesn't matter for it. Now the Cleric.
Dex 17 save,
Fail.
10 damage.
Then we're going to take our swings. Here's the first one at the Wizard. Disadvantage for the dodge, 18.
Shield.
Pop another shield, sounds good. And then we're going to follow up on the Cleric. 19 to hit you, Cleric.
AC 20. No miss.
And then we're going to burrow. Oh, we only have 5 feet of movement left. Okay, we're not going to go anywhere then, because halfway into a wall doesn't help us. And then we're going to go to the Fear.
Time to murder him. Move me 1 space northwest, please. And attack number 1 is an 18 to hit
Hits.
for 10 damage. Attack number 2, a 25 to hit
Hits.
for 17 damage. Attack 3 is a 26 to hit for 11 damage. And that'll be it for me.
The Fear is the Blind Oracle.
Let's go ahead and take the shot first. 28 to hit
Hits.
for 29 points of damage. Hilariously consistent. And then I think I would like to take the diagonal to the southeast and then the hide bonus action there.
After the Blind Oracle, we go to the Longfish.
Sacred Flame again. Dex 17.
I get a 20.
Pass turn.
After that, we go to the AzureWolf.
Let's burn 2 charges to hit for magic missile. So we are looking at 3 plus the modifier.
2 on the die, plus 1 for Magic Missile, plus 5 for Int is 8. Times 4 shots is 32.
Yeah, no, that's it for me.
Alright, and then we're going to go to the Owl.
Let's get advantage on the fighter. I don't think it's going to be there, but let's do it.
And then fly away, bother the Rogue. And then after the Owl, we go back to the Dow. Oh boy. Dow is going to cast Invisibility on itself, and then it's going to move. And then after that, we're going to go to the Fear.
I'm going to reposition south of the wizard and ready myself to attack the Dow when it appears.
Okay, Blind Oracle.
Let's hop to the other side of the rock, hide, and ready in action to shoot if the Dow appears.
That's the Blind Oracle, Longfish.
Ready a Sacred Flame if the Dow pops up.
AzureWolf.
Continue to be bait with dodge.
The Owl.
He's just going to keep him there and dodge with him.
Dow is going to charge back in because it's trying to kill you. It'll attack first and then it'll reappear. Advantage and disadvantage cancel out. I should have gone up to the Cleric. 12 to hit you.
Negative.
Then that'll make it reappear, so Rogue, do your thing.
Yep. 19 to hit.
19 connects.
33 points of damage.
It drops. And that's the encounter. Report hit points.
128 of 128.
105 of 105.
116 of 116.
52 of 93.
Any end of encounter actions.
Collect arrows.
The adventurers have defeated one of the 4 djinns that they need to kill to pacify the elemental planes and prevent the strikes from incurring back into the material realm. Hit points, abilities, spells, items in hand.
128 of 128 hit points. I have my +1 great axe in hand. I have my second wind, action surge, and Indomitable all available.
Short bow in hand, 105 hit points. Sneak dice all day.
116 hit points. I have 4 level 1, 3 level 2, 3 level 3, and 2 level 4, and 2 level 5 spell slots. I'm holding the Staff of the Python and the Shield +1.
I have 52 hit points. I have 5 charges remaining on my wand. I have 1 first level slot, 3 second, 3 third, 3 fourth, 2 fifth, 1 sixth, and my arcane recovery is still available.
Monsters' abilities, items, and numbers. This encounter takes place in a castle on a floating earth moat. Adventurers have been sent to rid the castle of the djinn who is flaying it. Djinn's got pretty good hit points, pretty good armor. It's got spellcasting abilities. It has a scimitar it can attack with, and it can create a whirlwind. A 5-foot radius, 30-foot tall cylinder of swirling air magically forms in a point the djinn can see within 120 feet. It lasts as long as they can maintain concentration. A creature but the djinn that enters the whirlwind must make a DC 18 strength save or be restrained by it, and it can move the whirlwind 60 feet as an action. Any creature restrained by the whirlwind moves with the whirlwind. The whirlwind ends if the djinn loses line of sight of it. A creature can use its action to free itself versus a DC 18 check. If you succeed, you are no longer restrained and you can move to the nearest space outside the whirlwind. After that, we go to terrain and effects. So there's a little bit of impassable terrain, there's a little bit of difficult terrain. The rocks outside the earth moat are very steep, so they are difficult terrain. You have to move carefully over them, else you would fall. The red terrain is dropping onto the ground. It's 300 feet down, so it's 20 d6 of falling. Then you are also 300 feet down, so you probably don't want to get knocked out of the encounter, unless you can fly, and some of you have been known to do that.
Question, what's the height from the outer wall to the interior courtyard? Since I have a feeling that at some point I'm going to want to jump down.
20 feet from the outer wall to the interior courtyard.
Is there a door under that arch, the one on the south end? Is that a solid gate, or is it a pass-through?
It is a gate. It is closed.
Okay, cool.
Tactics. What do you think for tactics in this fight?
Definitely don't let him keep concentration. If he gets that whirlwind up, he's going to try and throw people off the side. Other than that, we try and stay in zones that aren't immediately adjacent to the exterior, I think, if we can.
If we don't have a ranged ability, we'll just fight him in that courtyard. We'll see if we can keep him in that courtyard.
Let's go ahead and roll initiative then. You might just nuke him. Who has higher than a 20?
Rogue has a 21.
Fighter has a 21.
Who's going to go first?
Go ahead and go first, though.
Who's got between a 20 and a 15?
Cleric has 15 -1.
I have a 5 on the djinn. What do you got for me, wizard?
4 for the whiz, 2 for the owl.
Man, you're rolling initiative like me.
They're true to form tonight. The other night they were way off.
Rogue, you're going to start us off with a 21.
Oof. Okay, so we're going to do to the northeast on the diagonal. Then we're going to take the dash action and go north. And then we're going to take the hide bonus action from right there.
Scramble turn. Get out of the line of sight.
Once again, I'm going to ask you if it's possible for...
Passive perception 13.
So, no. I'm going to choose to take 10 on that, so I get a 23.
And then after that, we're going to go to fighter.
I'm going to head straight east, and I think one of those is difficult terrain.
Technically, no. Also, you can jump it, I think.
I'm going to just keep on going, dash, and drop to the courtyard level. I believe I'm taking 2d6 damage.
Take 7 on the way down. You concentrating, I think?
I am not.
LongFish.
Do I have line of sight of that guy?
You do not. There's a house on the way. You can get a portion of him there. You have a cover, but you might not care about that.
Yeah, I'll go to that corner then. 3rd level, Guiding Bolt. 22 to hit.
Hits.
For 24 damage. The next person attacking it has an advantage.
After that, we go to the djinn. I think we're just going to start off with the whirlwind. He's going to cast it right upon you. Go ahead and give me a DC 18 strength save.
That is a 21.
21, so you're going to pass. That's the djinn's action. Doesn't feel comfortable moving.
Aww.
Well, no, he does feel comfortable moving because he'd rather take 1 opportunity attack from you than take 3 regular attacks from you. So let's fly out of here, and we're going to go 35 feet up.
The Oppie is 28 to hit.
Hits.
For 16 damage. Great weapon fighting.
And now, because I did these in the wrong order, I have to make a concentration save for the whirlwind. I fail, so the whirlwind goes away. Okay, well, that's why we're learning tactics on this channel. After that, we're going to go to the AzureWolf.
Let's move just above the cleric there.
You do not have line of sight there. You could also go to that opening, and then you would have line of sight. Do you want that instead?
Yeah, let's do that. And let's throw a firebolt. That's a 14.
That will miss. After the AzureWolf, we go to the owl.
Let's get him in range, close as I can. I don't think he's going to get too close. And his dodge.
After the owl, we're going to go back to the top of the order, BlindOracle.
Yeah, you're a little far away for the short bow to tag you, unfortunately.
13, 14, 15. I'm within range.
But you're also 35 feet in the air.
Yes, but you only take the maximum of any orthogonal coordinate.
Ah, today I learned. Cool, then we'll pop up and take the shot, and then figure the rest of it out. 22 to hit.
22 hits.
Again, asking, is there any reason I would not get my sneak dice on this, given that I have advantage from popping out of stealth?
Nope.
Excellent. 29 points of damage, and then we're going to take the hide bonus action with a 23.
And we're going to go to the fear.
Move northeast, north 2 spaces. Then we're pretty much just going to stand here. I'm just going to dodge. I don't want to start slinging javelins yet.
LongFish.
Move me 3 spaces forward. I'll chuck a Sacred Flame at the Gene. Dex 17 save.
Fails.
12 damage. And back me up.
That was a LongFish. Now it's the Jin's turn. The Jin is going to drop a Create Whirlwind. We're going to go drop it on the 2 most fearsome. I'll give him a 50-50 about whether or not he knows where the rogue is. So he does not. So he's going to drop a Whirlwind there. Wizard, go ahead and give me a DC 18 strength save.
That's gonna be a big old 6. That gets it, right?
It does, and you've embraced the Whirlwind. You are currently restrained by it.
Fun.
That's the Jin's action, and I don't see the need to move, so we're going to go to the AzureWolf. You're restrained, so all the regular things that happen unrestrained. As an action, you can take a DC 18 strength check to break out of the Whirlwind.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen, but let's throw a magic missile downrange.
Because that doesn't matter about being restrained. Tell me about it.
Let's do a level 1. That is a 2 on the die.
2 plus 1 for the magic missile plus 5 for the evoker is a total of 8. 8 times 3 is 24. He's going to take 24 points of damage, and then he's going to make 3 concentration saves. Passes all of them.
Lucky.
After the AzureWolf is the owl.
Let's give him a fighter advantage.
After the owl, we're going to go back to the BlindOracle.
The house or object I am standing in front of is blacked out terrain. I assume that means I cannot climb it.
You can't pass through it, but you can absolutely climb it. You want to climb on top?
Yeah. That takes me how much movement?
Let's say 10 foot tall, you climb at full speed, so that'll be 10 feet up.
I want to try and get behind the wall up there on the north side and then hide.
Oh, beautiful. Look at him go. Okay, here.
I'm going to pull out a javelin, move 4 spaces to the east. There's no way that I don't get disadvantage here because the javelin range is 30, so I'm just going to go ahead and take the shot at normal because I have advantage from the bird. That's a 13 to hit.
13's not going to make it. LongFish.
Move me 3 spaces up. Sacred Flame. Dex 17 save.
Passes with a 21.
Bonus action, the 2nd level spiritual weapon, southeast of him. 24 to hit,
24 connects.
11 points of damage.
He's going to make a concentration save. He's going to pass.
Yep, and turn.
After the LongFish is the Whirlwind. Jin can move the Whirlwind 60 feet as an action. He's going to do that. You're going to move with him. And then the Whirlwind ends if the Jin loses sight of it, so he's going to move it out of his sight. Whirlwind's going to end, and you're going to drop. Do you have anything that'll save you from a 300-foot drop?
Yep, so as my turn comes around, fly.
Okay, let me see how far you fall in one turn.
500 feet per round is pretty common.
It's 500 feet per round?
Let me start calculating this. It's 300 feet up at 9.8 meters per second.
But what is terminal velocity of an elven wizard?
Laden or unladen?
It's 500 feet per round. It's in Xanathar's.
You're going to take 20 d6. Give me 1 second.
Did you prep Featherfall?
No.
That's a man asking to die of a screaming, splattering death.
Yeah, you're gonna kill me.
55.
By 3.
So that was the Jin. After the Jin is the AzureWolf. Death saving throw.
That is a 10.
That's a pass. After the AzureWolf is the BlindOracle.
I presume I cannot see the Jin from where I am standing.
You can peek out and see him.
Cool. We'll take the shot from there. That's a 29 to hit.
29 hits.
No crit, unfortunately. 31 points of damage. I don't suppose I can move into that lovely room with its lovely archery slits, can I?
You cannot move through an archery slit, unfortunately.
Dang it. We'll hide there and hope he doesn't notice me then. 23.
After the BlindOracle is the Fear No Equal.
We will throw another javelin. See if we can do a little bit better this time. If I move up onto the steps, will that gain me a nut? No, it'll pull me farther away from him.
No, it won't. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're now 25 feet in the horizontal direction and 20 feet up, so only 15 feet in the vertical direction. You are now at short range. They're not cumulative, it's the max of the two. So 25 feet is the maximum and 15 feet is lower than that, so you're good.
Well, I will just take a regular shot with my javelin then. That's going to be a 26 to hit for a big ol' 8 damage. That'll be it for me.
After the Fear is the LongFish.
Move me 4 to the east and then 1 to northeast. A Sacred Flame. Dex 17 save.
I think I'm going to fail that one. Yep, failed it with a 12.
17 damage.
17's lethal. Jin drops. Speaking of dropping, do you have anything else you're going to do on your turn?
No, none of my spells can reach 300 feet.
Shout healing word really loudly.
Then we're going to go to the AzureWolf. AzureWolf, give me a death saving throw.
That is an 18.
After that, we're going to go to the BlindOracle. You got anything relevant for this encounter?
No.
Fear, you got anything relevant for this encounter?
Nope.
LongFish.
No.
Then AzureWolf, give me another death saving throw.
That one's a 6, unfortunately.
If anyone has any other ideas about what they want to do, let me know. If not, we're going to go back to another death saving throw from AzureWolf.
Nothing. Yep.
Nothing.
Hot damn, that's a 20.
All right.
A 20 stands up with 1 hit point. Report hit points remaining. What do you got for me, BlindOracle?
105 out of 105.
Fear.
121 out of 128.
LongFish.
116 out of 116.
AzureWolf.
1.
Yep. After that, we're going to go to pre-rest actions. Anybody have any pre-rest actions?
I'll use the Pearl of Power to get my 3rd level spell slot back.
Sounds good.
And I will use Wand Channel Divinity to restore up to 55 HP. So however many points will restore the wizard up to half, which I think is like 46?
And you're at 1, so you're going to pick up 45 hit points. Sounds good. Does anybody wish to spend any hit dice on short rest?
Yes, spending 1 hit die. 7 total HP.
I'm kind of surprised that nobody wanted to jump screaming after him. You're looking at an average of 70 hit points on the drop, which all of you can survive.
Look, now he's the skydiving wizard.
Yeah, but if he had died, you had a potion in your pocket, you would have felt bad.
I think you're assuming a lot about how it have felt.
Spend 7. Recover 45.
The second djinn has been vanquished, and the adventurers have to move on to the next plane. To do so, they're going to enlist the help of a flying ship, and so the next encounter will take place there. Hit points, abilities, spells, items in hand.
105 out of 105, holding the short bow.
128 out of 128. I have Second Wind, Action Surge, and Indomitable all available with a Great Axe +1 in hand.
116 out of 116. I have the Staff of Python and Shield +1. I have 4 first level, 2 second level, 3 third level, 2 fourth level, and 2 fifth level spell slots remaining.
90 out of 93. 5 slots left on my wand. I've got 0 first, 3 second, 3 third, 3 fourth, 2 fifth, 1 sixth.
Having been sent forth by their djinn masters, the elementals are ambushing you on your sky ship that is traveling out of the elemental plane of air. This encounter has 2 water elementals. Water elementals cannot fly. If they get knocked off the ship, they don't have a way back up, but they can swim. Not that it's going to matter. They resist damage. They have a bunch of condition immunities. They can squeeze through spaces. Can enter hostile creature space and stop there. It can move through a space as narrow as 1 inch wide without squeezing. They have multi-attack, they have slam, and they have whelm, which recharges on a 4+. Each creature in the elemental space must make a DC 15 strength save. On a failure, it takes bludgeoning damage, and it is grappled. Until the grapple ends, it is restrained, and it's unable to breathe for a trivial amount of time. If they save, they're pushed out of the space, which could be interesting. The elemental can grapple a large creature or 2 medium creatures at a time. At the start of the turn, a target grappled by it takes more damage. And a creature with 5 feet of the elemental can pull another creature out by making a DC 14 strength.
Is the whelm ability melee based or is it ranged?
They move into your square and then they activate it. Air elementals can fly, so if you knock them off the ship, they're just going to fly on back up. They have a bunch of damage resistances, they have a bunch of condition immunities. Air form, so they can again squeeze through spaces as narrow as 1 inch wide. They have whirlwind, recharges on a 4+. They can move into your space. They force a DC 13 strength save. If you fail, you take some bludgeoning damage and you're flung 20 feet away from it in a random direction and then knocked prone. If you strike an object such as a wall or a floor, you take d6 bludgeoning damage per 10 feet thrown. If the target is thrown at another creature, the other creature makes a DC 13 dexterity save or take the same amount of damage and be knocked prone. If you're successful, then you take half damage and you're not knocked prone. Terrain and effects. Fairly open terrain on this map. There's a couple of masts on the top that are impassable terrain to move diagonally through. They also function as pretty decent areas for a rogue to hide. But then it has the same problem that we had last time, which is falling to the ground is maximum volley damage, which is 20d6. It's 300 feet down. However, if you fall next to a porthole, what porthole you say? Well, there's a second level to this ship. If you fall next to the portholes, which line up there, you can make a DC 17 dex save, and then you can swing into those portholes. This is true for both you and the enemies. That's what we have for terrain. Tactics. Anyone have any ideas for tactics for fighting air and water elementals?
Should we all run into the lower level?
I was thinking that. Going into the lower level would prevent anybody from getting knocked off the side.
That's an excellent plan.
Yep, I was thinking that as soon as that level popped up, I was like, that's the move.
We're gonna beat these guys just normally as long as nobody can fall off the side. So going under to the lower level seems like the move.
Yeah.
I can pop a Spirit Guardian in case the water elemental wants to get close.
Other than that, if we can't get underneath, taking those air elementals out of play as fast as possible seems like the priority, because water elementals are not going to, like, significantly throw us off the side, but that is a serious risk with the air elementals.
Let's go ahead and roll into some initiative then.
And this is what decides the fight, as always.
Anybody get higher than a 20?
24 for the rogue.
21 on the wizard.
Anybody have between a 20 and a 15? 17 for the elementals.
16 on the fighter.
15 minus 1 for the cleric.
And 4 for the owl.
Rogue kicks off.
We are going to move forward 5, shoot the water elemental in front of me. Well, there's the crit. Unfortunately, there's no sneak dice attached to this for 14 points of damage. And then we're going to run downstairs. Dash bonus action. Towards that mast.
After the rogue is the wizard.
Make a beeline for the stairs. Yeah, I think it's worth dashing to get down there. Let's go to that north there, in between the wall and the stairs.
Very pleased that the squishies got the first shots there.
After that, we're going to go to elementals. I guess we're going to jump you guys then. Oh, wait, we don't have to. We can go after the squishies. So this guy's going to move downstairs. We're going to move into the rogue's square, and then we're going to whelm you. Give me a DC 15 strength save.
I crit fail that.
Does halfling luck kick in on saves?
It does.
Did you double crit fail it?
No, but the odds that I pass this are low. It's a 13.
Go ahead and take 13 points of bludgeoning damage.
Can I use Uncanny Dodge? It is not an attack, so no, I cannot.
You are grappled. You are restrained. You can't breathe. You can use your action to try to get out of it. Somebody can also use their action to try to pull you out of it. That was my first one. Second one, we're going to float the air elemental. He flies for 90 feet, so he's going to float on in after the wizard. Whirlwind attack. DC 13 strength save, wizard.
That is a 13 on the head.
Take 22 halved to 11 bludgeoning damage, and you save against it so you are not flung away and you are not knocked prone. After that, we're going to go to the air elemental then. So he's going to move to there. He's going to wrap up both of you. Both of you give me DC 13 strength saves. Should be fine for you.
13.
19.
There was some worry there.
Go ahead and take 11 halved to 5 bludgeoning damage. After that, he's going to move. He'll take the oppie. He'll move to there and take the opportunity.
28 for 13 damage.
18 to hit.
Hits.
I'm going to use Divine Strike to give me an extra 1d8 radiant damage, so the total will be 11 bludgeoning and 2 radiant.
It is not magical bludgeoning, however, so that'll go to 5. So he'll take 7 total. The water elemental, so he's going to dash to there, and he cannot whelm because whelm is an action. After the elementals is the fighter.
I'm going to run downstairs.
Okay, take 1 opportunity attack.
Yep.
I missed with an 11.
And then I'm going to dash downstairs. I am kind of stuck. Let me get up into that corner. I'm going to action surge to attack. Attack the water elemental. That's a 24 for 12 damage. 22 for 15 damage. A 16 for 16 damage. Alrighty, that's it for me.
After the fighter, we go to the cleric.
I am going to cast 3rd level Spirit Guardians.
Wait.
I will nominate the owl as my friend.
Okay, you can't see anybody.
I'm fighting 2 of them.
You open up with the spirit guardians. After the cleric, we go to the owl.
Yeah, let's jump in the porthole and come downstairs. Let's get advantage to the fighter on the water elemental.
Okay, after that, we're going to go to rogue.
I would like to escape, and I would like to do this as a acrobatics check. My minimum is a 23.
So you pass because you need like a 14.
That is an action, unfortunately, to escape the grapple.
Unfortunately.
God, and he's just gonna chase me over hill and dale.
His whelm is on a recharge.
That's true. Bonus action stab with the short sword?
Offhands have to follow an attack action.
That's right. I don't really have anything here.
You can move and hide.
That's true. We'll try and hide behind the bulkhead up there on the east side.
You get a 23. His passive perception is 10. After that, we're going to go to the wizard.
Yeah, let's throw 2 more slots on the magic missiles at him, and the die number is 3.
Die is 3, plus 1 is 4, plus 5 for Evoker is 9. 9 times 4 is 36. He takes 36 points of damage.
Hoping the fighter can finish him.
That's an action. What else you got?
I can't really shift around, can I? Staying where I am.
After that, we're going to go to the elementals. Water elemental is going to fail to recharge. It's going to just make slam attacks against the fighter. 19 to hit your fighter.
That'll do.
Take 10 points of bludgeoning. Second attack. 9 to hit you.
Nope.
And no reason to proc twice. Air Elemental, going to recharge. Failed to do so. It's going to slam as well. 12 to hit you, Wizard.
No,
Second attack. 27 to hit you.
just barely.
15 points of bludgeoning damage. Are you concentrating on anything?
Negative.
Top shelf. Water Elemental is going to start its turn off in the zone. Tell me about it.
Wisdom 17 save
It's going to fail that.
for 21 damage.
Then it's going to try to whelm you. Give me a DC 15 strength save.
18.
Target is pushed out of the elemental space. What direction do you want to go?
Northwest.
Then the air elemental is going to start its turn off in the zone. Fails.
13 damage.
He's going to succeed at recharging. He's going to move to there, and he's going to whirlwind you. Give me a DC 13 strength save.
That is a 14.
So 6 half to 3.
I need a concentration check. A 15.
Those are my 4 guys. After that, we're going to go to fighter.
We're going to wail on the water elemental. First attack. Oof, that's a 14.
You had advantage on the first one.
Oh, thank you. That's a 17
Hits.
for 10 damage. All right, second attack. That's a 16 to hit.
Hits.
Reroll the damage die for 13 damage.
Lethal.
Ooh, and swing at the air elemental for my third attack. That's a 23 to hit for 9 damage. Let me move to the other side of the wizard.
After that, we go to cleric.
Action dodge and end turn.
Smart.
After that, we're going to go to the owl.
Let's give the fighter advantage on the air elemental this time.
You probably don't need to be standing next to him. After that, we're going to go top of the order, the rogue.
Sure, let's just pop out and shoot the air elemental. 27 to hit
27 hits.
for 32 points of damage. I'd like to move to the other side, that space right there, and hide there.
After that, we're going to go to the wizard.
Shocking grasp.
He is not wearing armor.
11, unfortunately.
11 misses. After that, we're going to go to the elementals. We're going to start off in the below deck. Air elemental is going to try to recharge. He's going to succeed, so he's going to immediately whirlwind. Both of you give me a DC 13 strength save.
Ooh, blew that one out the water. 19.
24.
Oh man, another terrible one. You take 8 half to 4 bludgeoning damage.
That was a great roll. What are you talking about terrible?
Going back up onto the roof. Air elemental is going to start its turn off in the zone. Fail.
Only 9 points of damage.
He's going to try to recharge. He's going to succeed, so he's going to whirlwind you. Give me a DC 13 strength save.
30-20.
Take 14 half to 7 bludgeoning damage.
And my concentration check is 12.
He's going to move over here, not proccing, but moving out of the way so that his ally can potentially get a attack. Water elemental is going to start its turn off in the zone. 10 fails.
14 damage.
He fails to recharge, so he's going to make his regular slam attacks against you. 19 to hit.
Missed.
Second attack, 26 to hit.
Disadvantage because I'm dodging.
26 turns into a 19 to hit.
Miss.
That's the elementals. After that, we're going to go to the fighter.
3 swings on the air elemental. That'll be a crit. First one of the night for me. 19 damage. Second attack. Second crit. 17 damage. Third attack. That's a 15 to hit.
Hits.
16 damage. Thank goodness for great weapon fighting.
Lethal.
I think I'm going to go run upstairs because the cleric's not coming down to us. One more just to the west.
After the fighter, we're going to go to the cleric.
Dodge. Move me south 1 and then southwest 1. Oh, you did not be a guess.
13.
Miss. And then I will move west 1 more space.
After that is the owl.
Fly back out and get advantage on the rogue on the water elemental because that's the first one there.
After the owl, we're going to go to the rogue, who now has advantage to shoot a water elemental.
I do indeed. We are going to pop up and shoot said water elemental. 28 to hit.
Yep.
Ugh. 28 damage.
That was 2 squares. You got 3 left.
Let's just go back downstairs and hide.
That was the rogue with the wizard.
Yeah, I'm kind of going to do the same thing as the rogue. Move up, shoot, move back. So we're going to cast Firebolt. That is a 22.
Hits.
15 damage high.
Pokemon rules, that would not be effective range.
I know, right?
4 squares of movement left. You're going to go back.
Yep.
After the wizard, we're going to go to the elementals. The water elemental is going to start its turn off in the zone. Fails.
13 damage. Have moved difficult terrain while he was still in my zone.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, so close. Let me try to recharge anyway. He does recharge the whelm, but he doesn't have the distance to get there, so he's just going to have to make 2 regular attacks. 12 to hit you,
Nope.
followed by a 15 to hit you.
Nope.
Air elemental starts to turn off in the zone, fails a save,
12 damage.
fails to recharge, 2 slam attacks, disadvantage for the dodge. 14.
Nope.
Ooh, 23?
A hit.
Then I have to do damage. I never got this far. It's like the dog chasing the car. 16 points of bludgeoning damage and a concentration save.
11.
Up to both of the elementals, we're going to go back to the fighter.
I'm going to move to the far side of the water elemental, and I don't have advantage here, so I'll just go ahead and wail on them the usual way. 28 to hit for 17 damage. Second attack. 25 to hit for 12 damage.
Lethal.
And go after this guy with a javelin. 12 to hit.
Miss.
Stay there.
After that, we're going to go to the cleric.
Keep dodging. Yeah, move me 1 space to the northwest. Alright, yeah, that's it.
Now the owl.
Since the owl's friendly, let's make the rogue have some advantage and get out.
After that, we're going to go to Rogue. You're up.
Walk upstairs, take the shot at advantage. 27 to hit.
Hits.
That was respectable. 38 points of damage.
38 points is lethal. The air elemental dissipates. Report hit points.
92 of 105.
60 out of 93.
109 out of 128.
90 out of 116.
Any end of encounter actions.
Arrow collection.
I'm going to use second wind. It's D10 plus 11 healing once per short rest. It's going to be for 17 HP.
They knew the air elementals were coming from them. The water elementals were surprised, so the water elemental Jin is probably waiting for them next. The adventurers are going to head off to that plane and see what they can figure out about that situation. Hit points, abilities, spells, items in hand.
92 out of 105 hit points. We are holding our +1 short bow, and we have no special abilities that are on a short or long rest.
60 hit points, and I have 3 slots left on the wand. 3 second, 3 third, 3 fourth, 2 fifth, 1 sixth. And its arcane recovery is still in the pan if I need it.
126 out of 128 hit points. We have Indomitable still available. Second wind and action surge have both been used. And a Great Axe +1 in hand.
I'm currently at 90 out of 116 hit points. Holding the Staff of Python and the Shield +1. I have 4 first level, 2 second level, 2 third level, 2 fourth level, and 2 fifth level spell slots remaining.
Monsters, abilities, items, and numbers. The monster here is a Merid. A Merid is a water djinn. They have decent armor, a whole mess of hit points, pretty good saves. They have some damage resistances. They can breathe air and water, as one might imagine for a water creature. They have spell casting, as all genies do. They have a trident that they can use to attack with, and they also have a water jet attack. The water jet shoots a 60-foot line that is 5 foot wide. You make a dex save against it. On a failure, you take a bunch of damage, and you are knocked backward 20 feet and prone. If you succeed, you take half damage, and you are not knocked prone nor knocked back. Terrain and effects. Terrain is quite simple. Once you open the door, you're completely underwater for the entire encounter. What are the underwater effects, you ask? Well, I'm glad you did. Each foot of movement counts as 2 feet of movement, which is different than difficult terrain, because if you're also in difficult terrain, then each foot of movement will count as 4 feet of movement. There are different levels to the depth here, so you can swim up above some of these things or swim down below, which is relevant for the rogue. You might want to hide behind some of the stuff that's in here. As a refresher, melee weapon attacks. It's a creature that doesn't have a swimming speed, has disadvantage on the attack rolls unless the weapon is a dagger, javelin, short sword, spear, or trident. For ranged weapon attacks, it automatically misses beyond short range, and even in short range it has disadvantage unless it's a crossbow, a net, or a weapon that is thrown like a javelin, spear, trident, or dart. Creatures or objects that is fully immersed in water have resistance to fire damage.
While the rules seemed fairly specific, I have a pike. Is that affected by the disadvantage?
Yes. And after that, we're going to go to tactics. Do you guys have any ideas for tactics in this fight?
Well, don't line up.
It's either I upcast to 6th level and make us all fly. Or, I don't know.
How would flying help us?
Flying would increase your overall movement speed, right? You fly at a rate of 60. You guys would be then halving 60 back to 30, so you'd be a little more normal.
Do we have water breathing or like water walk spells?
Water breathing could help, though the combat duration probably isn't going to make it a problem. You guys can hold your breath for tens of rounds, so that's not really an issue. Water walk, there's no surface to the water, so you can't walk across the surface of it.
Unless somebody's got something else. I'm kind of pulling them blanks here.
I think the mages will have to be our source of damage here, because the rogue, you can get into short range and shoot him. I cannot. I can't do any meaningful damage here, so...
I'm in the same boat. Every weapon I own is piercing.
The impediments to damage are not strictly about piercing or not.
Okay.
Yeah, in my case, it's I can either attack with a magic weapon with disadvantage or a non-magic weapon with no disadvantage, and he's got resistance to non-magical damage, I'm assuming.
Actually, I just thought of something.
Dagger and the short sword attack normally.
Oh, okay. So we're on the dagger then.
The bow doesn't, but
I can make the fighter a giant shark.
This could be the right place for polymorph, honestly.
I'm just looking at my spells. I'm like, that's a very good option there. Make that fighter a giant shark.
Or should we make the rogue a giant shark?
No, make the fighter a giant shark. Reason being is that Fear is right. Like, if I can get close to this guy with the giant shark backing me up, I can still put sneak dice through.
Also, since I can't do damage myself, and this guy is presumably highly mobile in water, making me the shark will allow me to stick to him.
any other thoughts? In that case, let's go ahead and roll initiative.
What are my rolls going to be tonight?
Anybody have higher than a 20? Anybody have between a 15 and a 20?
Rogue is a 19.
15 on the wizard?
Who's got between a 15 and a 10? Who's got between a 10 and a 5? 8 for the Marid.
Cleric has 7.
5 on the fighter.
What do you got for me, Al?
4.
Rogue, as usual, you're up first.
Take a large breath of air and start moving in.
So you got 1 square movement left, but you can't enter it because it is difficult terrain.
Yep, so we're gonna dash. And I think we dash again.
After the rogue, we go to the wizard.
Alright, let's move in. Polymorph for the fighter. I'll make him a shark when he gets underwater.
Can you cast underwater?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Require chanting of mystic words. The words themselves are not the source of power, rather a particular combination of sounds with pitch and resonance set the threads of magic in motion. Thus, a character who is gagged or in an area of silence can't cast a spell with verbal components. To me, being underwater would disrupt that.
Obviously, a water breathing would change that question, I think.
If you're able to breathe water, then you could probably speak normally in water. So do you want to do that while you're still with your head above water here?
Yeah, I guess because I'm pretty much going to be useless for this fight after that.
You got to go look through your spell list and see what doesn't require verbal.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or you stand there and concentrate at that point.
Well, if that's the case, then I'm out of luck as well. All my spells require verbal.
About to get interesting. You don't have water breathing prepped?
Like, I don't have water breathing period.
After the wizard is the Marid. There's no way you're going to give him 10 rounds. that would be really bad. So he's going to get started. He's going to cast Control Water on an area of water that is 100 feet. The blue line is everything that he can control. Within that, he's going to create a whirlpool. The effect requires a body of water at least 50 square feet, done, 25 feet deep, done. You create a whirlpool to form at the center of the area. The whirlpool forms a vortex that is 5 feet wide at the base, 50 feet wide at the top, 25 feet tall. Any creature or object in the area and within 25 feet of the vortex is pulled to 10 feet towards it. Creature can swim away with a strength athletics check against spell save DC, which is 16. When the creature enters the vortex for the first time, it makes a strength save. On a failure, it takes 2d6 bludgeoning damage and is caught in the vortex until the spell ends. On a successful save, the creature takes half damage, isn't caught in the vortex. A creature caught in the vortex can use its action to try to swim away from the vortex, as described above, but has disadvantage if it's caught in the vortex. Alright, that's the Marid. That's all he's going to do. After the Marid, we're going to go to the Cleric.
Anyone have any ideas?
Spirit Guardians. Cast it out here, then swim over to him and stand next to him.
Alright, cast Spirit Guardians. And move me 1, 2, and...
Man, I can't even upcast this.
After that, we're going to go to Fighter.
Into the drink.
Become a shark.
This is the creature you're getting.
All right.
I know it looks ridiculous,
Street Shark.
so give me a strength athletics check. I'm sorry, it's a strength save.
It is a 12.
12 is going to fail. Failed save, you take 2d8 bludgeoning damage. Take 7 bludgeoning. You're caught in the vortex. Creature caught can use its action to try to swim away from the vortex at disadvantage with a strength athletics check to do so. So you got 2 squares left. Do you want to use your action to try to swim out?
Yes. Question. Do I use my proficiency?
The target gain statistics, including mental ability scores, are replaced by the creature.
Gotcha. Thank you. Then that's going to be a 25, and that was my action to swim out.
It is your action to break free of the vortex.
There's something in here.
I believe we call that a drive-by sharking, and it's not any fun.
In a deeply amusing twist of fate, I have exactly as many hit points as I did before I changed.
This is all I got, by the way.
This encounter is going to be crazy. After the fighter, we're going to go to the owl.
Yeah, he's just gonna hang out here because he's got absolutely nothing he can do.
Sounds good. After the owl, we're going to go to the rogue.
This sucks. So I need to make a strength saving throw for you, yes?
Yeah, when you start your turn in the zone, give me a DC 16 strength save.
Fail.
Take 8 points of bludgeoning.
Okay.
You are caught by the vortex.
Yep.
And if you want to swim, you have to use your action to do so.
Okay, so I'm going to use my action to swim.
Disadvantage on a strength athletics check, DC 16.
So the challenge here is I either swim or I don't. Like, I have no action otherwise.
Yeah, so make your athletics check to do so.
I fail.
Okay, so that was your action. No movement for you. Do you have a bonus action?
I would like to try to dash.
Yeah, I see it.
I fail. That's it. I'm done. I am out of actions there.
After that, we're going to go to the wizard.
I've literally got nothing else. My shark is my only option here, so pass.
What's your action?
Dodge, because everything else is verbal.
You got it. After that is the Merid. So the Merid is happy. As an action on your turn, you can repeat the same effect. So he's going to repeat the same effect as an action.
You don't want to lower the water?
No, I don't want to do that. After that, we're going to go to the Cleric.
I'm gonna clamber out of the water and dispel magic. 4th level dispel magic, that thing.
Yep, 4th level transmutation. The control water disappears. You jump back in the water afterward or no?
Yeah.
Coming in clutch with the dispel magic. After the Cleric, we go to the Fighter.
Looks like 100 feet towards the Merid, because 50 ain't going to get me there.
Totally wanted to see a rogue ride a shark.
Yeah, that would have been cool, but
That was a Fighter, now it's the Owl.
Dodge.
After the Owl is the Rogue.
just keep swimming. Move, dash, dash.
After the Rogue, we're going to go to the Wizard.
Dodge.
Okay, after the Wizard, we're going to go to the Merid. Conjure Elemental takes too long, can only do Control Water once. I can do Invisibility. Yeah, let's do Invisibility. He's going to go invisible. He's going to swim for 90 feet.
Do I get an attack of opportunity?
You cannot see him, you have to see the person to attack.
I have blind sight 60 feet.
Then you absolutely can.
Shark's coming in clutch.
I only have the one attack. It's a bite.
You have disadvantage.
Ah, thank you. 19 to hit,
19 hits.
25 damage.
Oh! Yeah, he didn't like this. 25 damage, that'll be a DC 12 con save, which he's going to pass with a 15. And then he's going to go swimming. He's going to swim over to there. After that, we're going to go to Cleric.
Move me as fast as I can, dash towards the rogue. So 50 feet, cuts down to 25.
After the Cleric, we're going to go to the Fighter.
Is he within 60 feet of me?
Yep.
Great. Let's move 50 feet towards him, and we're going to attack. I no longer have disadvantage. He's bleeding, therefore I have advantage on melee attack rolls against a creature without all of its hit points.
That's excellent.
So you have advantage against him, you have disadvantage for the invisibility.
So they balance out. Ooh, that's an 11 to hit.
11's a miss.
Yep. That's all I got.
After that, we're going to go to the Owl. Dodge.
Dodge.
Rogue.
Well, I know there's blood in the water, and I know my buddy's over there. Let's just start poking him. I won't be able to do a whole lot, but no reason not to try. That's a move and a dash.
Yep.
Regular action, attack with the dagger at disadvantage. 19?
19 hits.
10 points of damage.
Sorry, is it a magical dagger?
Yes, it is. And yeah, we're good there.
Did he pass his con?
Yes. Good catch. After that, we're going to go to the Dodging Wizard.
Dodge.
Merid is going to eat the opportunity attack from the Rogue.
He's still invisible.
Oh, he is still invisible. I'm sorry.
Okay.
He's going to move to there, line up a water jet, and water jet the two of you, because it's a 60-foot line. Each creature in the line must make a DC 16 dexterity save. Rogue,
17.
pass. Fighter,
3.
Ow.
on a failure, you take... that's not bad. 23 bludgeoning damage. You are huge or smaller, so you're going to be pushed 20 feet away, and you're going to be knocked prone. Rogue, you're going to take half that, but are you?
No, I'm not, because I have evasion.
That will bring me back into visible because I made an attack. It only took 7 squares to get here, so we're going to swim away. After that, we're going to go to the Cleric.
Full speed towards the center of the map.
After the Cleric is the Fighter.
What do I have to do to unprone while underwater?
Sacrifice half your movement to get up.
That's fine. I'll dash to get to the Merid again.
After the Fighter, we're going to go to the Rogue.
Let the triple dashing to get to the corner commence.
After the Rogue, we're going to go to the Wizard, dodging.
Yep.
After the Wizard, we're going to go to the Merid. He's pretty much out of tricks, so I think it's going to be another water jet. Line up the Rogue and the Fighter.
Does he have to recharge the water jet?
Nope. Rogue, DC 16 dex.
Ooh, I failed that with a 12.
And Fighter,
10.
We need you guys to pass, because this is going to be move back, water jets, rinse, rise, repeat.
18 damage. Rogue, what do you think?
I'll take half of that for 9.
Sounds good. And then you're both going 20 feet back and getting knocked prone. And then he's going to move a little bit further away. After the Merid, we're going to go to the Cleric.
Move me 5 towards the merit.
After the Cleric, we're going to go for the Fighter.
Dash to get back to him on his south side.
After the Fighter, we go to the Owl, who I imagine is dodging. After the Owl, we go to the Rogue.
So half my movement to stand up off of the first, so that's 15 towards the Merid, and then 2 dashes for 25.
After the Rogue is the Wizard, who dodges.
Yes.
After the Wizard is the Merid. You boxed him in rather well. Polymar's an hour. So I'm not going to be able to wait that out. The cleric's going to get me. Got to get rid of the cleric. We're going to water jet the cleric. Give me a DC 16 dexterity save, cleric.
Oh, that's a 2.
Take 26 points of bludgeoning. DC 13 concentration.
That's also a 2.
You lose the ring, and you're knocked prone. After that, we're going to go to the cleric.
I'll stand back up for half, and then dash for 35.
Halved because you're underwater, so that'll be 3. After that, we go to the fighter.
I will attack. That is an 18 to hit,
Hits.
13 damage.
After the fighter, we go to the owl, who dodges, I imagine. After that, we go to the rogue.
Continue trucking towards the Merid. Let's hide behind the shark.
He has blind sight of 30 feet. Move up.
Sure, yeah, dash to get there.
That was the rogue, now it's the wizard.
Same things on the menu. Dot.
Doing his little dance, the Merid. I don't want to take 2 oppies, so let's start stabbing. 28 to hit you.
Woo!
12 points of piercing damage. Second attack, 13 to hit you.
Yep.
15 points of piercing damage. That was my Merid cleric.
Dash me 5 spaces to the west of the mare. There we go, yeah.
After that, we're going to go to the fighter.
Rolling for bite. That's a 24 to hit,
Hits.
25 damage.
After the fighter, we go to the owl. Dodge. After that, we go to the rogue.
Sure, we're finally there. Let's go ahead and attack with the dagger. At disadvantage again?
No, he's no longer invisible.
17 hit,
Hits.
30 damage total.
Oh, you have a bonus action. You got anything you want to do with a bonus action?
Sure. Bonus action to drop a hunting trap in his square.
Okay.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. After that, we're going to go to Wizard, Dodge, Merid. The Merid is going to try to get out of here. So the first thing is take a step and tell me about the trap.
Sure. So you have triggered a hunting trap. Sawtooth steel ring that snaps shut when a creature steps on a pressure plate in its center. The object trap is fixed by a heavy chain and an immobile object. Creature that steps on the plate must succeed a DC 13 saving throw or take 1d4 piercing damage and stop moving.
20.
Okay, cool. Does not matter. He's free.
I'm going to go to here.
Do I get an attack of opportunity there?
All of you get attacks of opportunity as he leaves. Oh, I should have probably blasted the shark first.
Crit.
Okay,
39.
that's fine. Let's go to the rogue.
25 to hit.
Hits.
This is not my turn. My sneak dice trigger again.
Correct.
37 points of damage.
It was at that moment he realized he had made a mistake. Cleric.
But also crit.
Oh my god. Okay.
21 points of damage with Divine Strike.
Teach you to run away.
I feel like I've learned this lesson several times.
Have you?
Well, I've been taught this lesson several times. Let's bust the shark. Give me a DC 16 dexterity save.
6.
Take 18 points of bludgeoning, get pushed up against the wall, get knocked prone, and then he's going to continue on his merry way. After the Merid is the cleric.
Dash 5 squares towards him.
After the cleric is a fighter.
I'm prone, right? So dash to get to him.
I didn't want you to be able to catch up with him. I wanted to escape. Okay, after the fighter is the owl. Owl's going to do what owl does. Rogue.
Excellent. We will continue to chase the Merid aggressively.
After the rogue, we're going to go to the wizard. Anything change, wizard?
Yeah, if I can fire down and see him, I'm so doing it.
What do you got?
It's got to be Firebolt because that's my longest one.
It's resistance to fire.
He is 30 feet away from you.
Yeah, because Ray of Frost isn't going to do... I'm going for numbers at this point.
Yeah, but he's got resistance to fire because he's underwater.
Oh, it is resistance to fire, isn't it? Yeah.
Ray is also super valuable because it'll restrict his movement, which is what's killing us.
That is true. 18 on the Ray.
18 hits.
That is 14.
He is also resistant to cold.
And he loses 10 movement.
And he loses 10 movement. That was the wizard. After the wizard is the Merid. He's going to jet the shark backward. So, shark, give me a DC 16 dexterity save.
5.
Okay.
He didn't make a single one of those.
Take 24.
Ow.
And you're knocked prone. And then he's going to go walk up to the wizard. After the Merid is the cleric.
Go full speed towards the merit.
After the cleric is the fighter.
Move and dash to get to the Merid.
After the fighter is the owl. Owl going to do anything?
Skip the fighter advantage.
After the owl is the rogue.
I will catch him eventually, damn it.
After the rogue is the wizard.
This is something I don't get to use often. Poison spray. DC Con 17, please.
Fails.
And that is 20 poison.
After that is the Merid. Merid's going to attack. 26 to hit you with the trident.
Work.
15 piercing and a concentration save.
Oh, that's a 20 on the die.
All right, that'll pass. Second attack. 15.
Shield.
After the Merid, we're going to go to the cleric.
Swim me 4 towards him and then 1 to the northwest. I don't want to be on the same line.
That's smart. After that, we're going to go to the fighter.
Attacking as usual. Advantage because he's bleeding.
Forgot about that. Got it.
It's going to be a 23 to hit
Hits.
for 26 damage.
And the Merid drops. hit points.
75 out of 105.
35 out of 93.
64 out of 116.
In shark form, 7. Non-shark form, 126 out of 128.
This is a short rest. Any pre-rest actions. We pop in preserve life.
Is anyone below half?
Yeah.
Wizard, how much do you need to bring you up to half?
35 out of 93, so yeah, 11.
No point in healing the shark, because it's going to get dismissed. This is the final short rest. Use them or lose them for hit dice. Let's do the easy one first. Fighter, how many are you spending?
Spending 1 for 2 HP.
3 for 19.
5 for 30.
6 to heal me back to full 116.
Post-rest actions. Anyone have any post-rest actions? Wizard?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to use my Arcane Tradition. We said it was 6. Going to get that second slot back I just burned. Plus my 4 first.
Rogue, you're going to go fish out a trap?
Yeah. Pick up the trap.
Fighter's going to use a potion of Stone Giant Strength, setting my strength at 23 for the next 60 minutes.
The third genie has been defeated, and the party is off to the elemental plane of fire to find the fourth genie that they're trying to stop. Hit points, abilities, spells, items in hand.
Currently holding the +1 short bow, 105 out of 105 hit points.
Staff of the Python and Shield. I'm at 160 hit points. 4 first level spells, 2 second level spells, 1 third level spell, 1 fourth level spell, 2 fifth level spell slots remaining.
I have 65 hit points, 3 slots remaining on my Magic Missile Wand. I got all my first level slots on my second, on my third. I have down to 2 remaining fourth level slots, 2 fifth, and 1 sixth.
128 out of 128 hit points. We have Second Wind available, Action Surge available, Indomitable available. Currently have a Potion of Stone Giant Strength active, setting our strength to 23. Weapon in hand is a +1 Great Axe.
All right, you guys are fighting an Ifriti. The Ifriti has a whole mess of hit points, pretty good armor class. They are immune to fire, as one would imagine that a fire elemental is. They have innate spell casting, so they can cast some spells at you. They also have the ability to hurl flame. Has a 120-foot range, 5d6 worth of fire damage, and they wield a scimitar that they can use to attack you in melee combat. Terrain and effects. There's a couple of pieces of impassable terrain, some pillars that you cannot move through. They go all the way up to the ceiling, so you cannot stand on them either. There's a whole mess of lava all around here. If you step into the lava, you will take 6d6 fire damage when you enter the lava and when you start your turn in the lava.
Is it possible to hide behind the pillars?
Yes. After that, we're going to go to tactics. What thoughts do you have for tactics for this fight?
We're looking at island hopping our way over in the shadow of the pillars, because that 5d6 thrown flame is pretty nasty.
Is the 5d6 flame a ranged attack, or is that an AoE effect?
It's a ranged spell attack. That's interesting. It is theoretically counterable.
Do we think that this guy's going to come down from his perch, or are we going to have to get up there in there to melee with him?
I see he has no reason to come down.
I suspect so.
He might try to hide in the lava, as my assumption is he is immune to it.
You know, that could be helpful, because we could just prep attacks against him if he does that.
In that case, let's go ahead and roll initiative.
Best part of every fight.
Anybody have higher than a 20?
I do with the bird. 22.
20 for the Ifriti. Who has between a 20 and a 15?
19 on the wizard.
16 on the fighter.
15 for the rogue.
What do you got for me, Cleric?
3 on the dwarf.
3 is as good as a 14.
It's true. Owl, you're up first.
Yeah, I am. He can go underneath the bridge.
No, there's lava right under the bridge.
Okay, so it's right up to it. Got it. Dash behind that pillar.
After that is the Ifriti. Oh man, I could sink an owl immediately. Let's just do this. We have a fly speed of 60 feet, so we're going to fly 60 feet forward. And then we're going to cast Wall of Fire. It has a 120-foot range. Cast that on you guys. Create a wall of fire on solid surface. A ringed wall 20 feet in diameter, 20 feet high and 1 foot thick. The wall is opaque, so you cannot see through it. Lasts for the duration, which is concentration up to a minute. When it appears, each creature within the area, which will only be fighter and the cleric, makes a dexterity saving throw. DC 15, 36 fire damage, or 18 if you pass.
That 20.
Fighter, what'd you get?
3.
One side of the wall selected by me, I'm going to select the inside, deals 5d8 fire damage to each creature that ends its turn within 10 feet of it. The other side of the wall deals no damage. That's an action, that's a movement. I have no bonus action. I pass my turn on to the wizard.
Can I get to that northeast pillar there?
Okay, you're going to pass through the wall. Give me a dexterity save, DC 15.
What's my damage?
31 fire, and I don't think you're concentrating on anything. What did you get to pass?
20. Let's cast Hypnotic Pattern on him. 30-foot cube. It's a DC 17 Wisdom save.
He gets a 23.
Okay. Yeah, it's saver. So
After the wizard, we go on to the fighter.
I would like to try and jump over the wall using my ring of jumping. What am I looking at to accomplish this?
When you make a high jump, you leap into the air a number of feet equal to 3 plus your strength modifier. What's your current strength modifier?
Yeah, 6.
Plus 3 is 9. The spell jump allows you to triple the jump distance.
Yep.
So that would be 27, so that'll definitely make the distance. However, requires you to move at least 10 feet immediately before the jump. So you make the standing high jump, you can only jump half that distance. So that would be 14, which is insufficient to cross. So what you could do is you could run 1, 2, and then jump over it. That's 20 feet up, and that would be 30 feet.
I'd be dashing no matter what.
Okay, then where do you want to go after that?
Land outside of it, start straight line moving towards that bridge.
And that's it for you?
Yeah, and I don't think I took additional damage there.
That was perfectly fine. After the fighter is the rogue.
We're just going to try and run the wall.
Okay.
On the diagonal, behind the post, behind the wizard.
Give me a DC 15 dexterity save.
And 11, I failed that.
And then you're still only going to take half, right?
Half, yeah.
Okay, so that's 16 before the save.
So I take 8. Hide bonus action behind the wizard. 29.
29, I'll do it.
And then I would like to shoot the... Oh, shoot, I think I'm out of range.
You're exactly at 80.
Okay, perfect. Then I will take the shot with advantage. Does a 26 to hit.
26 hits.
Sack of d6 incoming for 20 points of damage. And that's my turn.
Con save, right?
Con save. Yes, he has to make concentration. You did 20 points of damage, DC 10. He's going to get 12. He passes. Cleric, you're up.
Run north after the rogue. Cast a level 2 spiritual weapon, 60 feet. Action dodge.
After that, we're going to go back to the top of the order, the owl.
Fly in there and aggravate him for me.
And then we're 2.
Fly him on the south side of that pillar he was just at. Southwest would put him where he can't be seen, right?
After that is Ifriti.
Y'all looking awfully fireballable over there.
If only I had the fireball spell. He's going to cast Enlarge on himself.
That's going to cancel the wall of fire, right?
And then he's going to fly over to the fighter. He can make 2 scimitar attacks against you, which is what he's going to do.
Enlarge and scimitars?
You guys are way better at this than I am.
Play way too many casters.
He's going to fly into the middle of the lava where he can't be a melee attack. He'll fly 20 feet off the ground. And then we're going to go to the wizard.
Magic missile, second level. D4 is 2.
2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 times 4 is 32. And that'll be 4 constitution saves for concentration with a DC of 10. Passes all of them. Anything else?
Yeah, I think I'm in a good spot now.
After that, we're going to go to the fighter.
I guess we will move to group with our teammates, and then I will dodge.
After that, we're going to go to the rogue.
I assume I can draw line of sight to him at this point because he's gigantic.
Yeah, he's 15 feet tall,
Cool.
20 feet off the ground.
Yeah, bonus action, hide behind the wizard. Little stealthing. 21?
Your minimum is 23, right?
Forgot about that.
Yeah, that'll pass.
Shot with the short bow at advantage. 27 to hit.
Hits.
Ooh, 34 points of damage. That's my turn.
Concentration. DC 17, he gets a 17 on the nose. After that, we're going to go to the cleric.
Move me 1 more space to the right. And keep dodging. Bonus action, move the spiritual weapon next to the thing. Give it a swack. 27 to hit.
Hits.
7 points of damage.
Concentration. Pass.
That's my turn.
After that, we're going to go to the owl.
Let's aggravate him for the fighter. Basically get on the east side of that.
After that, we're going to go to the Ifriti. Ifriti is going to fly next to the rogue and wizard. Swooping down. First attack with the scimitar is going to go after the wizard. 12 to hit you.
No.
Second attack with the scimitar is going to go after the wizard. 18 to hit you.
Yeah, that'll be a shield.
And then he's got 3 squares left, so he's going to go 15 feet up and 15 feet away. After that, we're going to go to the wizard.
Let's put my hand on the cleric and the fighter's shoulders and cast fly with 4th level.
Both of you have 60 feet of flying movement.
Go get him.
Anything else?
No.
After that, we're going to go to the fighter.
Move me into contact with him on the south side.
You have advantage on your first one.
I do. First attack. That's a 30 to hit.
Yeah, hits.
12 damage. Second attack. 18 to hit.
Hits.
15 damage. Third attack. That's a 26 to hit.
Hits.
17 damage.
3 concentration saves. Pass. Pass. Pass.
That'll be it for... You know what? Move me 2 spaces to my east. Just occurred to me, if the wizard loses concentration, I don't want to be over lava.
That's smart. After that, we're going to go to the cleric.
Wait, not the rogue?
1,000 apologies. No, you're correct.
You were too well hidden.
He's not hidden, though.
He wasn't even hiding, and you still couldn't see him.
We're going to move to the other side of the wizard, hide behind the pillar, and then shoot him. 23 for the hide.
Yep.
And then we roll a... Well, we get a 1, so halfling luck kicks in. 16 to hit. Ugh.
That's with advantage?
That's with advantage and a halfling luck reroll in there.
That's going to miss, sorry.
Yeah, it's cool. Alright, that's turn.
All right, back to the cleric. Sorry about that. You want the bridge?
Yeah. So I'm gonna do a level 3 inflicting wound on him.
Tell me about it.
Touch attack. 19 to hit.
Hits
40 necrotic damage.
40,
I rolled 210.
which is a DC 20 concentration save. He fails. Bonus action.
Move the hammer towards the squishies.
After the cleric, we go to the owl.
Just gonna dash him towards us.
After that, we're going to go to the Afridi. You have a staff in hand, cleric. So I will take an attack of opportunity from you.
18 to hit.
Hits.
6 damage.
Then he's going to walk away from cleric, taking that damage. He's going to attack the wizard. 27 to hit you, wizard.
Ooh, that's definitely gonna connect.
14 points of slashing and 3 points of fire for a total of 17 damage. Give me a concentration save when you're ready.
14.
Second attack. 26. 15 points of slashing and 7 points of fire for 22 points of fire damage and a DC 11 concentration save.
That was a 12.
I can't survive an opportunity attack from the fighter. I guess I'm out of options. Then after that, we're going to go to the wizard.
He's in close range.
Mm-hmm.
Poison spray.
Okay, tell me about it.
Con DC 17.
Pass.
19. That's a conjuration, so he does not get a +5.
19 will half to 9. After the wizard, we go to the fighter.
Do I have advantage on this one?
No, it didn't get there in time.
Thought so. Opening attack, 21 to hit,
Hits.
14 damage.
That is lethal. The Afridi drops. His body disintegrates in a flash of fire and a puff of smoke, leaving behind only equipment that he was wearing, which is his scimitar. Report hit points.
10.
Oh man, I was close.
92 of 128.
97 of 105.
98 of 116.
Any end of encounter actions?
I can pop a channel divinity and restore the wizard back to half.
Okay.
That'd be appreciated.
Wizard is currently sitting at 93 maximum. Half of 93 is 46. With the final djinn in the elemental planes destroyed, the elemental palace begins to collapse. The adventurers have to make their way out of here and get caught by elementals along the way. But we'll see what happens to them next time. The adventurers made it out of the palace, but they get waylaid along the way by 2 fire elementals and 2 earth elementals. They're going to have to fight them and make good their escape before they can get home. Hit points, abilities, spells, items in hand.
46 hit points remaining. 3 charges left on the wand. 3 first level slots. 2 second level slots. 2 third level slots. 1 fourth level slot. 2 fifth level slot. 1 sixth level slot.
92 of 128 hit points. I have a Great Axe +1 in hand. I still have Action Surge and Second Wind available. I currently have a Potion of Stone Giant Strength active +2 to my Strength modifier.
97 out of 105 hit points, holding a +1 short bow.
98 out of 116 hit points, holding Staff of the Python and a shield. I have 4 level 1, 1 level 2, 1 level 4, and 2 level 5 spell slots remaining.
Has 10 minutes passed?
No, 10 minutes has not passed.
So you guys are still flying. I'm still concentrating.
You're facing 2 earth elementals and 2 fire elementals. Earth elementals have bludgeoning, piercing, slashing resistance from non-magical attacks. They are vulnerable to thunder, which might be interesting. They are immune to poison, the poison condition, as well as unconsciousness, petrification, paralysis, and exhaustion. They have tremor sense of 60 feet, so if the rogue is on the ground, then he will be noticed within 60 feet. You might want to stay out of that. And they have a passive perception of 10, so it should be easy to hide from them as long as you can get off the ground. The other thing about tremor sense, it only senses vibration, so if you stop moving, they wouldn't be able to notice you. They can earth glide, so they can burrow 30 feet through the earth. There are 2 fire elementals. The fire elementals, again, resist bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. They are immune to fire and poison. They are immune to exhaustion, grappling, paralysis, petrification, poison, prone, restrained, and unconscious. And they have a fire form, so they can move through a space as narrow as 1 inch. If a creature touches them or hits them with a melee attack while within 5 feet of them, they burst forth some fire damage back. The elemental can enter a hostile creature's space and stop there and do some damage to the creature when that happens. They have water susceptibility, so if you splash a gallon or more onto them, they'll start to take cold damage. And then they have a touch attack that they can do as a melee attack. Terrain and effects. So there's a little bit of difficult terrain over on the left side. There's a little bit of difficult terrain over on the right side. Just some rocks that you can climb up on.
How tall are the rocks that are climbable / difficult terrain?
10 feet up.
Okay, perfect.
There's a bunch of lava running through this place. The lava will do 6d6 if you enter or start your turn in the lava, so be aware of that. Tactics, you guys have any thoughts about tactics in this fight?
Our casters have a lot of juice left.
Yes, we do.
So definitely time to dump that. Beyond that, I don't see us really wanting to venture far.
Especially with those earth shifts.
Yeah, and these are melee combatants, so like we might as well just let them come to us.
But spread out because of the fire.
Yeah, but basically, conduct the fight over here on this side with, space that we can maneuver in. Spirit Guardians probably be valuable.
Yeah, I'll pop the Spirit Guardian if they get close.
Oh, they're coming, so you might as well get it out of the way.
I don't think we'll necessarily need fly up, so if you have something else that's concentration based, you can probably go for it.
Okay.
I mean, fly does give us move speed, which could be nice, but once they're near the squishies, we're going to be limited to their speed anyway.
In that case, let's go ahead and roll initiative.
What rolls are we going to get today?
Anybody have higher than a 20? I got a 22 for the elementals. Who's got between a 20 and a 15?
17 on the fighter.
Rogue is a 16.
Who's got between a 15 and a 10?
13 minus 1 on the cleric.
10 on the wizard.
What's the owl?
2!
Elementals are going to go first. Earth elementals, first thing they're going to do is burrow into the ground as they make their way towards you. He's going to burrow to there, and he is now underground. This guy's going to do a similar thing. He's going to go to there, and is now underground. Fire elementals have 50 feet of movement, so that's going to be 20 squares in a dash, which is what they're going to try to do. He's going to make his way over there. And then this guy's going to do a similar thing over here. Those are my elementals. After the elementals is the fighter.
I mean, I've got the flying, so can't quite get into contact. Wait, sorry, we have 60-foot fly, right?
60 feet of flying, yeah.
Can't quite get in contact with the elemental.
You got it to the top one.
That was the first one I counted, and I didn't think I did. Put me in melee contact with the top one.
You got it to the bottom one also.
Yeah, I just can't count. That's great. And let's go ahead and drop some damage. That is an 18 to hit.
Connects.
20 damage.
He's going to hit you back for 7.
Second attack. 15 to hit.
Hits.
14 damage.
He's going to hit you back for 4.
And third attack. Crit. That is 28 damage.
He's going to hit you back for 9.
And then I will bonus action and second wind. I should have done this at the end of the last fight, but I thought I might have overcapped. Is 17.
You good there? You want to hang out, move, bump and grind?
Action surge.
I'm going to save the surge. That is good for now. I could only move 5 feet, and I don't want to lose the attack of opportunity.
After that, we're going to go to the rogue.
I think we just take the shot at the elemental that the fighter's already beating up. 29 to hit.
Hits.
1 off of the crit. 1 off. For 33 points of damage.
Still up and kicking, huh?
Sprays 4 points of fire damage at you. Falls 55 feet short, so, don't worry about it. But
I kind of feel like that's my turn.
you got a bonus action.
Yeah, take the hide. We'll take the hide. I'll take the 23. I don't know if it's metagaming to have ask this, but can they actually pass that?
Their passive perception is a 10, so no.
Okay, so they'd have to actively percept, and it would take an action for them to do that.
Even on an active perception check, their maximum is 20.
Okay then, cool.
The nat 20 active action to find you, they still won't find you.
In the interest of speeding this encounter up, I'm always taking half.
All right, after that, we're going to go to Cleric.
Land on the ground, pop Spirit Guardian. Nominate all the friendlies.
The rogue is not hidden from you because he's using you to hide, so you're good.
At level 4. My last level 4.
Oof. That's a big one.
And that's it.
After that, we're going to go to Wizard.
Yep. 3rd level slot for magic missile, and I'm going to throw it towards that one the fighter's fighting.
Y'all out here trying to get me burned.
Not a good roll. That's a 1 on that eye.
1 plus 1 is 2, plus 5 is 7. 7 times 5, because it's a 3rd level magic missile, is that right?
Correct.
7 times 5 is 35, so he's going to take 35 points of damage and drop. That's an action. What else you got?
40, 45, 50. I'm 60. Good. I'll stay where I am.
After that, we're going to go to the owl.
Let's aggravate him for the rogue.
After the owl, we're going to go to the elemental. First thing that's going to happen is we're going to move into the owl's position. The elemental can enter a hostile creature space and stop there. First time it enters the creature space on a turn, that creature takes 8 points of fire damage.
That's fine. 7
remaining. And then I'm walking into the zone, so give me some damage.
Wisdom 17.
18 passes.
Dang.
Yep.
27 half.
27 half to 13. So then he's going to go dash 3 points of fire damage and catches fire. Until someone takes an action to douse the flame, the creature takes d10 fire damage at the start of each of its turn. Wizard and Cleric, both of you take 3 points of damage. Either of you concentrating on them?
Me.
Yep.
Both of you give me concentration saves then.
17.
Pass.
13.
Pass. And then we're going to move into the rogue space. Rogue, take 6 points of damage, and you are lit on fire. And then we're going to move out to there. Let's get some Earth Elemental. Earth Elemental is going to burrow to there and stay out of the zone. This Earth Elemental is going to do the similar action. It's going to dash to there and stay out of the zone.
To be clear, he's subsurface for that.
Correct, they're burrowing. After the Elementals, we're going to go to the fighter.
I will fly on back to that elemental. Let's go ahead and start attacking. First attack is a 25
Hits.
for 16 damage. Are you rolling mine?
Oh, thank you. Sorry. Take 5.
Second attack is a 14
14 hits.
for 11 damage.
Take 7.
Third attack is, hey, that's a crit. 18 damage.
Take 10. Bonus action.
No, I don't have any bonus actions that I want to throw down, but I will land on the ground.
After that is the rogue.
I'm about to ask a dumb question.
You're on fire, so you're going to take some damage. Take 5 points of fire damage. All right. Dumb question time.
Fast Hands allows me to use the use action item as a bonus action in combat. Typically, using things like an acid flask or a alchemist fire flask is a use action, right? I would like to use the water skin in my inventory in a similar manner and tag this guy with the contents of my water skin.
That's certainly doable. Let's look up how much a water skin holds and then decide if that's actually what you want to do.
Certainly.
Holds 4 pints of liquid, which is half a gallon, which would be 1 point of damage. Do you want to do that?
This will trigger sneak dice,
That's no.
Yes.
You get sneak dice on dexterity-based attacks.
which a thrown water skin is.
It's like holy water all over again.
Yeah. No, yep, okay. You're not proficient with this weapon, so you don't add your proficiency. You get your dexterity. You have disadvantage because...
I'm going to take the disengage action to step back.
I love this.
And then throw it at him so you don't have disadvantage.
Correct.
Great, okay.
Look, man, Rogue doesn't have a lot, but I'm going to use it to the absolute fullest.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, you just need to roll to hit.
21.
It's going to be 1 plus all of those sneak dice.
19 points of water damage.
Okay, they're still not vulnerable to cold.
Interesting. Okay.
They just have water susceptibility, which is what's turning water into cold damage for them.
Okay.
That was kooky. I like it. That was an action to disengage, a bonus action to throw. You going to move any more?
That's a good question. I think I'm good there, to be honest. I would like to stay inside the safety of Spirit Guardians.
Start of your turn, Cleric. You're going to take 9 points of fire damage. Give me a concentration save.
12.
12 to pass.
Hit him with a level 2 inflict wounds.
Okay, tell me about it.
22 to hit
Hits.
for 4d10 damage. 22 damage. Take me back for the splash, I guess.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead and take 6 points of fire damage as you touch him with your spell attack. And that's another concentration save.
19.
19, you pass. Thanks for reminding me. After that, we're going to go to Wizard. Wizard, take 4. Concentration save.
21.
All right.
You guys have landed, right?
Yeah.
He's in my face, so let's throw Conical Con 17.
Fails.
48 on the die.
48, so he takes 48. So he drops. You good? Anything else?
Yeah, because I can't put the fire out because it's an action. So yeah, I'm good.
After that, we're going to go to the elementals. Earth elemental down here is going to burrow up out of the ground. It's going to enter the zone. It's going to take a wisdom save.
Wisdom 17.
9. He's going to fail.
Only 13 damage.
Burrowing up out of the ground, and he's going to attack you. These 2s. I do not like these 2s. 10 to hit you.
Miss.
20 to hit you.
No, hit on the nose.
Take 14 points of bludgeoning damage. Give me a concentration save.
3.
Okay, so you're going to lose Spirit Guardians. He has reach, so he should not have gone that far, but he's controlled by a foolish man, so it's good enough for him. The other one was going to go after the fighter, but now he doesn't have to. He's going to burrow up where he can get to the wizard. Nat 20 to hit you, wizard.
Oof.
That's gonna hit.
He's going to get 28 points of bludgeoning damage. Give me a concentration save versus DC 14.
14 on the head.
And then the second attack against... Yeah, we'll throw another one at you. That will be a 14 to hit you.
Yes.
Those are my elementals. After that is the fighter.
Have we put damage on either one of these?
Yeah, the southern one.
I'm going to move 3 spaces south.
Here's the opportunity attack. Oh, you haven't left his reach.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay.
We are going to open with attack number 1. That is a 20 to hit
20 connects.
for 15 damage. Second roll. That's a crit. That is 28 damage. Third attack. 19 to hit.
19 hits.
Rerolling the damage die for great weapon fighting for 17 damage. Action surge.
He's not messing around.
20 to hit.
Yeah.
Ooh, rolled a 2 into a 1. 9 damage. Attack number 5. 18 to hit.
Yep.
14 damage. 24 to hit.
Yep.
Reroll the die for 16 damage.
Cuisinart has started. The Cuisinart has stopped.
Yeah, saving the action surge for the ones who don't hurt me when I hit them.
Good call.
Can you imagine my HP right now?
Zhunk.
That's it for me.
After that, we're going to go to the Rogue.
I'm still on fire, so why don't you burn me?
Take 3.
Okay, that's not as bad as I thought. A question. If I am hidden from one of them, and one of them can see me, how does that work as far as hiding goes? Do they have group sight?
So they have tremor sense, so if you move, they'll be able to see you. If you hold still right there, you're good. You can hide from this guy.
That was the plan, was to sit right there, hide as bonus action,
Shoot as action.
shoot as action.
Climb on the wizard's shoulders.
Yeah, there we go.
You wouldn't be walking around on the ground, yeah. No, I'm not doing that.
We've gotten kooky enough with rogue actions tonight.
I don't think you can hide if you're on the wizard's shoulders.
We have determined that they cannot see me with their passive perception.
Correct.
And then we will roll a 28 to hit.
28 hits.
Pretty weak, actually, for 26 points of damage total.
Lethal. He drops.
Bonk. And then I will move behind the cleric.
That will proc an opportunity attack, because you are technically within his... He has reach.
Oh, on the triangle. It's fine. I'll stay there then. It's fine.
So, I got a question on that. The fire elemental died to Kona Cold, which left a frozen statue of him. Does that block that?
Frozen statue of... What?
Read the last line of Kona Cold. There should be a statue of that fire elemental right there in that square.
A creature killed by this spell becomes a frozen statue until it thaws. Okay. I'm going to make a completely unsupported GM ruling that a fire elemental does not freeze solid when it dies. None of you have to agree with me. None of you have to keep playing. You can all revolt if you wish, but for simplicity.
Wizard, do you want an ice elemental? Because this is how you get an ice elemental.
This is icy hot. This is capsaicin and menthol. That's what you're creating here.
I do not recommend that experience, by the way.
You want a fire elemental here. So when I hit the cleric, I would have had to have been in a different spot. You have added to the terrain layer, and I haven't recognized your spell ability. So moving onward. That was the rogue. Cleric, you're on fire. Take 1 point of damage.
Not concentrating on anything. I'm gonna run up to that one and just hit him with a level 5 afflict wound. So close. 28 to hit.
Hits.
55 damage.
55? Good God. Really good roll. After that, we're going to go to the wizard. You're on fire.
What are you, his hype man?
Take 1 point and a concentration save.
You don't break it with a 16. Is this the last encounter?
This is the last encounter.
Chain lightning.
Okay.
Does this one create new statues?
All right, I got a 14 to avoid it. I think it's a dex save, right?
Dex 17.
Fails.
10d8. That is 59 plus the 5. So 64. And warping around my people, please.
All right, anything else?
That's it.
After that, we're going to go to an elemental. Elemental's going to attack. Go after the cleric. 17 to hit you.
Miss.
14 to hit you.
Miss.
After that, we're going to go to the fighter.
All right, go ahead and move me back up into contact. We're going to go ahead and attack. Attack number 1 is a 22 to hit
Hits.
for 17 damage.
Dead. With that, the adventurers are able to escape the ruins of the Afridi's stronghold and make their way back to the prime material plane. This encounter nets them 42,000 gold, which will be a split of 10,500 gold each. They collect a Great Axe +2, Boots of Speed, a Spell Scroll of Harm, and a Spell Scroll of Disintegrate, which will be distributed according to the logical order. Rogue gets the Axe, Wizard gets the Boots, Fighter gets the Harm, and Cleric gets the Disintegrate.
Exactly what I was
Sounds
thinking.
good to me.
Excellent.
So, no, the Fighter gets the Axe, the Rogue gets the Boots, the Cleric gets the Harm, and the Wizard gets the Disintegrate.
For the record, I have a scroll of harm all the time. It's the scroll that I smacked them with before I harmed them.
Having spent a great deal of time across the multiverse, the adventurers have returned home to find out that diabolical cults have popped up on the prime material plane while they were gone. They're going to have to clean up things back at home before they go gallivanting out again.
This world's just full of fun.
What's the easiest encounter by tradition?
I want to nominate the Fire Djinn, to be really honest. Or the Ifriti.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
What made the Fire Djinn easy?
No invisibility.
Okay, he has invisibility. So my thought on that was, if he casts invisibility, he spends his action casting. You guys all ready actions to attack him. He pops up, he eats not an entire turn of damage. He eats all the damage from the rogue, reduced damage from the cleric and wizard, and very reduced damage from the fighter. He gets to do one attack at advantage, and then that's it. and then he just takes full damage from you next turn. Why do you think that him not having invisibility made him easier to fight?
So for me, it's actually not about the invisibility. It's about the mobility.
Oh, okay.
One of the significant challenges of all of these fights was the mobility of our enemies. It's one of the first times that we've seen such a significant series of high mobility, high power enemies. This totally turned our previous routine single encounter with only one baddie. This turned it on its head. This was the fight where the enemy's mobility didn't make a significant difference. Even the first fight, the ability of the enemy to move through walls made a large difference. Whereas here, because the Fire Djinn came into contact with us, he was in melee range, it felt like a normal tank and spank.
I hadn't considered that. It's the fact that you can double tap him and he doesn't do anything on the turn that he goes invisible that makes it not feel like a good idea to use it as like essentially a double dash. He doesn't even move dash. He just moves, casts invisibility. The next turn he moves again and then attacks. It's a dash and attack, and in exchange you get all of the reactions. For the rogue, that's substantial. For the cleric, that's reduced damage, right? Because he's only going to be throwing a cantrip. Same thing for the wizard. Wizard's going to be throwing a cantrip, and then the fighter's only going to be throwing a single attack. But trading all that damage for a little bit of extra movement, I guess it depends on where you guys are positioned.
It's a get out of combat free, which with this one, and as we've seen with other fights, the ability to kite our group is very valuable. And if he's got a good pile of ranged spells he could be using, he's got a 5d6, 120-foot range cantrip. He could just dash around while we're stuck kind of on land. Now, fly made a big difference here, but ultimately, having that ability to kite us rather than coming into melee, which is definitely where I'm strongest, and often where the cleric is strongest as well, it would have cut our resources a lot if you had decided to kite and stay mobile rather than coming in close.
Once the fly was cast, I think it winds up being the exact same calculus.
Probably.
I would posit, even if you didn't want to play with invisibility, making him gigantic, you should have run up, grappled the rogue, and just dunked me in lava.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing I can do at that point.
Yeah, when you went huge, I thought somebody was going into lava at that point.
Just walk up, grapple the rogue, you automatically win that.
Not auto-win, but it's very close, you're right.
And then just drop me in lava and I die. That would have been it.
You don't die. You'll take 21 damage on average, 21 damage at the start of the turn, so that's 42. You'll be in dire straits, and then the cleric will heal you. It would take a long time for you to die.
Sure, but you could run up, grab the rogue, run to the other side of the arena, and just hold the rogue under.
No, I don't have that much movement. I got 60 feet of fly. 6 squares in, 6 squares out. It's an excellent tactic. You mentioned this before about, what if he swims under the lava? I wasn't going to treat this as swimming lava, more as really hot rocks. Is this fire water, or is this melts the bottom of your shoes off? I was going to go for option B, because he doesn't have a swim speed, and it's okay, what is really going on there? I definitely wanted to try to push people in, but it's a concentration spell, and it takes an entire turn to cast. As soon as I cast it, I was like, oh, this is a terrible plan.
Legit.
LongFish, what do you think?
Probably this one. All I needed was just I got fly, I'm just gonna run up to the thing and just keep it in the corner.
AzureWolf, similar?
Yeah, I think so. I think this was the less of the stressful ones of trying to figure out how to get into range or where the mob's gonna move.
What about the hard ones? What do you think was difficult?
Fourth.
The water one.
Yeah, the fish tank.
Yeah.
Oh my god. The biggest part here is we don't come into these fights with preparation. So much about this would have been solved if, as adventurers, we were able to say, we're concerned about fighting underwater, let's bring water-breathing potions that give us swim speeds. But we didn't have any of that, and oh my goodness, never fight underwater if you're not prepared for it, because it's just death.
Yeah, the cleric could have prepped water breathing, and that would have been huge.
Well, water breathing doesn't much matter. You can hold your breath for...
Would water breathing have given our caster the ability to cast spells underwater?
Yes.
That would have been huge.
Yeah, I was basically shut down.
So water walk lasts for an hour, but what about water breathing?
Is one action and is a ritual spell. And it lasts for 24 hours.
24 hours ritual cast. Why is water breathing not cast at the start of every dungeon?
That's usually what I do as a cleric. I personally, every day, ritual cast it just to cover my bases.
So, the spell list given to me didn't have it, so...
Okay, that's fair, that you weren't given it. I guess that answers that question. This says Druid, Ranger, Sorcerer, Wizard. Do you not have it? So I guess the question is, Wizard, why haven't you done it?
I have it on my cleric.
What level is it? Level 2, level 3?
Third.
I don't see it on my list.
Yeah, it might be because we're using the PHB, but yeah, I remember having it on my cleric.
Okay, well that's the reason that the cleric doesn't cast it, is because it's not on there. So it's the wizard's responsibility, wizard, because you assume that the cleric was going to do it erroneously.
That's always been stuck in my head, is that the cleric always ritual casts it.
So this was certainly difficult. Them having way higher mobility than you guys sucks. Them having resistance to a bunch of your abilities. You guys having disadvantage on attack rolls. Having weapon limitations. Nothing about this was made easy.
Very challenging one, yeah. Though not the one that we lost anybody on. We did have somebody downed on a different fight.
Oh, man.
So the first one, the tactics that I took notes about were, can't box him in, so spread out. Any thoughts about that?
Joke's on us. Saracen boxed himself in.
Did I?
I feel like this fight turned into a weird attrition fight.
Mm-hmm.
That you as the DM were doing the smart thing to maximize the amount of resource drain you can get from any one given encounter by popping in and out. But every time you popped out, you were going to take damage. And it was just a question of, all right, how much damage could you get for popping in and out? It was the same thing that we just talked about, the invisibility on the Ifrit, right? Unless you were getting damage out of the turns where you pop out in a meaningful way, you were taking more damage than you were putting out.
In a stand-up fight, I'm taking 3 attacks from the fighter, magic missile from the wizard, and a level spell from the cleric, possibly a spirit guardian from the cleric, and an arrow from the rogue. If I come out of a wall, take all the reactions, and then go back into the wall, I still take the arrow from the rogue, so that's the same. I only take a single one from the fighter, take a cantrip from the wizard, and I take a cantrip from the cleric. It's probably best for me to do that, to jump in, and I just foolishly put myself in a position where sometimes I couldn't get out properly. You guys were good about maneuvering around to force me to get into positions where I had to attack you and then couldn't escape afterward. And maybe that was poor focus on my part, or I was too attached to focus. I was like, well, I was attacking that guy before, so I attack him again.
If the DM starts damage spreading, that's best case scenario for the PCs, though.
Absolutely, yeah.
We have a life cleric. Oh, you've gotten us all moderately damaged. Channel Divinity plus hit dice, and all of a sudden we're back at full, and we've burned through one of your 6 lottery attempts as the DM, and we're back at full for negligible resource cost.
Any other thoughts about the first one?
I thought you used the environment well.
The second one, the notes that I took were break concentration, stay away from the sides. So you guys did an awful lot of concentration breaking attempts. The genie has +6 con save. He has to roll a 4 to save on concentration, unless it's 22 or more damage. So he's pretty likely to save on concentration. And then stay away from the sides. I don't think you're actually able to. He can move you like 60 feet, which is 12 squares. I think every square is within 12 squares of it outside. So I think the rogue had the best spot. That unfortunately was not going to happen. Was it enough, or should something else have been done? Is there a risk here of what happening? Your failure to break concentration, meaning somebody almost dies.
I will note that when I play a wizard, I never wake up and fail to prep Featherfall. That's just habitual. Some acculturation. Dragonlance fans will know what I mean. You always prep Featherfall every day, no failures. Because you never know when you're going to need it, and when you need it really badly. And there just aren't a lot of first level spells that generally make that much of a difference in combat. I don't think we had a solution other than perhaps like, oh, if somebody gets hooked by a whirlwind, use your biggest attacks to try and force that concentration save. Don't think that we had a better approach to that other than you can get thrown off if he lands this, try not to let him land it.
So here's the spells that are prepped by the wizard. What are you dumping in exchange for Featherfall?
Banishment.
All right, well, there's that answer.
Looking at it a little more closely, banishment is my first instinct because in this particular environment, it's a save or suck spell and everything's multiplanar anyway.
For these encounters, everybody's coming back to their plane. That's true.
So more generally, looking at this list, I would potentially drop Arcane Hand or Slow. You have much better things than Slow that require your concentration. So I would probably look at dropping Slow.
Got it. What else do people think about the second one? Why didn't anybody go screaming off the edge? Cleric, why didn't you go screaming off the edge after the wizard to save him?
The fight wasn't over yet?
When the fight was done, the fight wrapped up, the wizard's making death saving throws, you have the possibility to heal him. Why didn't you risk all your hit points and your consciousness to heal him up?
It's because nobody loves me.
What was the math?
20d6.
Yeah, that can kill me.
Expected value of 70 damage. If we lose somebody, we're now potentially losing 2 members of our team rather than 1.
If the damage spikes, it's like, that's just not worth it.
I don't want to call the wizard the bad money, but I'm not throwing the good money after him.
I guess nobody loves you, you're right.
realistically, a fighter could potentially have jumped. I'll almost certainly have survived the fall and then potioned the wizard, but I don't think we had the time. I'm on the opposite side of the island, which means I'm going to need at least a full turn to get over to a position above the wizard, unless I can, move while falling, which I assume I cannot.
Yeah, you got ring of jumping.
Even so, I don't think that's going to get me 60 foot laterally.
Not to mention, you want one of the slowest people in this group to run across the platform, and then it's gonna take me 1-2 turns to get to the edge.
What I'm saying is you have the chance to move 300 feet in one round. You're never getting this opportunity again. You should take it.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, the wizard's already beaten me to that record.
The best candidate to try and pull that stunt would have been the rogue, and I was looking at the hit point going, yeah, I will survive this, but if I didn't for some reason, let's say you Yahtzeed max damage and I'm down, now we really are burning a ton of resources to keep the adventuring day going, and it just didn't feel right. I will own up, I think I made a mistake in this encounter, though. There was a turn I took positioning to get away from the wizard, just in case the airflow caught me and I wanted to make it work a little harder, that I could have squeezed off another shot that might have broken concentration, and I took the positioning instead of trying to break the concentration, which that was a mistake. I'll own that.
I'm looking for ways of calculating what the likelihood of you taking lethal damage on 20d6 is. Because the expected value is 70. That's a 50-50 shot to be above or below. So what's the likelihood of taking some other number given that we're throwing 20d6 at the problem? So
yeah, not sure what the standard deviation on that is.
Any other thoughts about round 2?
I liked this map. It was dangerous. I liked that it was a little bit dangerous.
I wanted to add a little more danger into the higher level stuff. I thought this was going to be a little more fun.
I actually liked that this is a viable environment for low-level players, because you just don't wind up in fights that will throw them off the edge. And it's not, like pools of lava and fish bowls.
The third one, quick tactics summary first. Your tactics was run to the lower level to prevent being knocked off, and then cast Spirit Guardians. Worked like a charm, no problems.
I think initiative on the last part of the plan, everybody else ran off, and I just alright, I'm going to drop Spirit Guardian and just keep 2 of these guys up here with me.
Yeah, how does it feel to solo half the encounter?
It's pretty much a dice roll. As long as they don't break my concentration, they're not going anywhere.
So is that nerve-wracking of just I gotta make another con save, or is it just well, if they break it, I'll just cast it again?
It's more if they break it, I'll just cast it. Because I still had the Pearl of Power, so I was just gonna if I lose it, I would just Pearl of Power it. But it was getting a 3rd level spell slot back.
This map was fun, ducking up and down the stairs and being on a ship. Oh, really cool. I don't like elementals as a D&D consumer. Elementals are just one of those very binary feeling enemies. Do you have the tools? Yes, no. Do you have the counter damage element on tap? If you do, they get blown up, even though they're kind of bags of hit points.
They are certainly bags of hit points. Air Elemental doesn't have a vulnerability. It has immunities and resistances. Water Elemental doesn't have a vulnerability. It just has immunities and resistances. Has vulnerability to Thunder, immunity and resistances, and Fire Elemental, 2 immunities, resistances, and then Water Susceptibility. So what do you mean when you say, do you have the element on tap?
Earth Elementals, do you have Thunder? For the case of all Elementals, do you have magic damage? It's a height check encounter, for lack of a better way to put it. Is the party tall enough to ride this ride? Yes, no. If the answer is yes, then cool, we'll get there when we get there, kind of win. That's fine. It was an enjoyable map, and it was engaging, and we did different stuff. As a D&D consumer, I'm just not a fan of elementals. Their best shtick is just walking over you. Don't attack, don't do anything. Just, okay, walk and cause automatic damage and be a nuisance. They're really good if they've got another caster to back them up. If you wanted to just wreck us and throw deadly encounters at us, any of the Jinn plus matching elemental type would have been hilariously murderous, because now you have to make choices about resource expenditure, and you're running from the elementals as they're just trying to walk at you to be incredibly effective while you have a caster popping in and out of existence tagging you.
As long as we don't drop the elemental in 2 rounds like we did in the first one.
In 1 round. It was 1 round of reactions and then 1 round of attacks. Brought him all the way down to attack of opportunity range from the fighter. You guys bursted that guy super fast, and I didn't do that well. I recognize a bunch of mistakes that I made in that fight.
It's a learning curve, right? And no time you ever run something is going to be perfect.
I think there's also I didn't realize there's a spell called Magic Circle where I can just trap an elemental in there.
What was Magic Circle too?
It's fun.
It's a 10-foot radius, 20-foot tall cylinder of magical energy centered on a point on the ground you can see within range.
It takes a minute to cast, so...
Yeah, it's part of the problem with that. 10 rounds, but...
Yeah, there was a fight in this dungeon that went on 10 rounds. Any other thoughts about the third one?
Quick interjection before we leave the maps where we can fall to our deaths. A quick and dirty sampling indicates a roughly 15% of 20d6s are going to be 80 or above, and roughly 0.5% are going to be 90 or above. So we can safely assume that we're looking at 70 to 80 damage a good chunk of the time, 70 to 90 damage about 50% of the time, heavily weighted towards under 80.
Okay.
If you want to call it on good odds, if you have 81 HP, you can safely jump and take the 20d6 damage.
What sampling have you done for this?
I just rolled 220d6s and counted.
Got it. Okay.
There was exactly 190.
Get a 300-foot rope when we go back to town, right?
Well, yeah, if you each have 50 feet of rope, you're still 100 feet short. So the fourth one was our favorite. Everybody liked this one.
This was hell.
This was a coffee break.
Hell is not flames and demons. It's seaweed and lack of water breathing.
Don't line up. Upcast to fly. May just damage giant shark. So the giant shark wrecked. The giant shark did work.
The giant shark's the only reason we got through this.
No, that dispel was the clutch in this. We would have been screwed if we could not have gotten rid of that whirlpool he threw out.
Definitely the MVP of this. And it's going to be one of those unsung hero type. I mean, we're seeing the praises right now, so maybe not. But it prevented all of the things that nobody ever heard about. This encounter would have been so much worse if that hadn't happened, and it would have been way more dramatic. But it's just like, we're not doing that. We're not talking about that.
Especially as someone who's used that whirlpool before that control water spell to my advantage. Yeah, that thing is nasty.
Anybody have any thoughts about what would have worked better in this case? Obviously water breathing so that the wizard could have been in the fight more.
If I had control waters.
Based on the encounters that we've done so far, do you think you've had enough water-based encounters to justify it?
I looked at my spell list. There's a couple spells that are in there just specifically against undead, or just I don't need them. Against elementals.
Yeah, that's true.
I think control water would have been the wrong move here. Unless you're able to make it avoid your team, which I assume you're not because it's not an evocation spell.
Literally make a giant open airspace.
Right, but the enemy's not going to enter it.
I could be in the casting range at that point.
I can put the wizard closer to the middle, which means he gets more range.
And I could cast at that point without the water breathing. But yeah, again, it goes back to just water breathing.
But the water breathing is the superior option there. I think that the control water would probably have made the environment more hostile to everybody, but it's an environment that he's better off in than we are. I think that ranged attack probably should have been why he won this fight, because if he had just continued to kite us because of our lack of a swim speed, he could water jet us to knockback so that he didn't take opportunities, run away, we had to dash to re-engage him, and then he could water jet again. He had so much room in here that he had just a huge amount of ability to kite us.
He does have an ability to kite you. I don't think it's as large as you're making it out to be. He doesn't always knock you back on the water jet. Sometimes you guys save.
The flip side there is he has a health pool, so he throws the water jet. All the times that he doesn't knock us back, well, he takes one opportunity attack. So we're going to die before he runs out of HP here.
You're making some of them. Yeah, he can kite you.
That's the thing, is he's always doing the damage at the same time.
Yeah, he's doing 21 bludgeoning. Or half if you pass.
I was perfectly happy that we didn't die like that, but it was a close run.
I don't know that it was ever close, just because that's how I define a close encounter for you guys, is Channel Divinity got popped to save somebody. Anything short of that is just okay, well, we still have 110 hit points in the tank.
Yeah, okay. I can see Saracen's point there. This felt frustrating. This is one of those fights where I would fully expect, if I was running this, I feel like my players would just pull a CRPG nope out and be like, cool, we're going to research this problem and come back to it, and then, I don't know, work them back into the encounter in a way that they feel comfortable if I really want to run that encounter.
I absolutely agree. This is not an encounter I would want to run. I don't think it's fun to play.
No, I think that's a good lesson for listeners at home. Not all encounters are created equally.
I was going to say the lesson here is get your players onto a stream so that they're a captive playing group and they can't escape. If you really want to do this to them, entrap them.
There's a certain amount of prep that could have been done to make this a little bit easier. Water breathing.
If I was running this apart, my party would have probably looked at this and said, well, we can't get underwater and just kind of, like you said, noped out and then come back later once we've had a rest to reset things.
Totally understandable and proof that you can get through the encounter even if you don't have the optimal tools, right? That's absolutely true.
By optimal tools, do you mean something other than the starter set characters?
Not even so much without, right? Because all of the starter set characters have the tools to deal with a lot of these problems, right? They're ritual spells, they're in the core book. I do feel like the players need to make choices that are informed about what they wish to bring to an encounter. Our format shows that you can be resourceful and solve the encounters without those tools. Is it clean? Is it simple? No, but it is doable.
Any other thoughts about the fourth one?
I had a question. So what was your goal when you started coming out of the land there, basically?
When I started coming out of the land,
Yeah, you literally came out of the water towards me. What was your goal there?
the point was to crack the concentration because the fish was doing the most damage. So if I crack concentration on you, then fish stops hurting me.
You figured the risk reward of me being able to cast a spell at that point.
He's the only person who can catch me while I kite them away. The other two are just like, I'm just moving away. And they're like, all right, we're going to plot after you. The only way I can get rid of him is to crack you open. I guess I could have tried to attack him directly. Maybe that would have been smarter. But with the cleric there, it's just like, great, I'm going to heal him up. I'm like, all right, well, this isn't going anywhere. So I need to take your concentration down to get rid of him.
I was just curious because I was like, I don't think I would have made that move. Like, I would have kept kiting, I think.
5, your tactics here were island hopping to close distance. Wasn't necessary, it turns out. Tackle the summons, and then hide in lava prep attacks. That was an expectation for him that he would hide in lava. We talked about that a little bit. He is very limited in his action economy, I feel. Probably the right move. You mentioned before Hurl Flame versus the Scimitar attack. Let me get the numbers. The Scimitar attack is plus 10 to hit, 2d6 plus 6 slashing damage. For this purpose, I'm going to call that 3d6, but one of them is always a 6, plus 2d6 fire damage. So that's 5d6, but one of them is always a 6. Hurl Flame does plus 7 to hit and 5d6 damage. And you don't get that one of them is always a 6 roll. The Scimitar is going to do more damage. It's more accurate and it does more damage on average. You still think that the Hurl Flame was a smarter move after the Fly was cast, Fighter?
After Fly was cast, even so, yeah. Because the Fly just relies on the wizard maintaining concentration, which means he should be the target for every Hurl Flame.
Okay.
And 5d6 plus something, or is it just 5d6?
It's just 5d6. There's no addition to it, which is why for the Scimitar for me made more sense.
Yeah, he's still looking at a DC 10 concentration check. Which wizard, how often can you make that?
Constitution's plus 2.
He's looking at a 7 or less. That's a 35% chance of whiffing that. So roughly 3 turns.
Not even. He gets 2 attacks per round, but he has to hit is the thing.
So still call it once in 3 rounds, earlier if he gets lucky. And what's worse is if he does this over the fire, we've got to fly out to meet him when the concentration goes down.
The cleric doesn't, because the cleric can throw ranged attacks. Rogue obviously doesn't. You do.
In the case of the cleric, though, fly is immaterial, right? Because he's got the ranged attacks. So either casting fly on him is meaningless, because he's already got meaningful ranged attacks, or he's going to try and use his melee and go out and engage, in which case he's over the fire, which is bad for him. I still think that maybe trying to bait some movement out over the fire. I'm biased on this towards melee combat because that's where I get all of my damage, but I have no meaningful damage at range. At minimum, he's dashing around at range, reducing his own damage, leaving fly out of the equation. He's taking one person entirely off the board. He also doesn't have to worry about us trying to protect our squishies. There's nothing we can do about ranged attacks on our squishies. 4 rounds of Hurl Flame on the wizard, and he's going to be hurting pretty bad.
Well, there's things that you can do about the ranged attacks on squishies, right? You could just stand there and dodge and let the rogue stand behind you and give him concealment. That's the thing you can actively do. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to go after the fighter to get rid of the concealment. No, that didn't work. Can't go after the rogue. Cracking the wizard's AC 20 is going to be difficult, especially with a plus 7. He needs a 13 to hit, so he's going to be missing 60% of the time. Because that's the thing about the Hurl Flame is the plus 7 is rough for your guys' AC.
120 range on the Hurl Flame?
Yep.
Yeah, so you could basically just sit back and keep nuking us. Move in, nuke us, move out. Because I think my longest spell is 150 range.
That'll still connect with him.
And the rogue's sneak attack is effectively 80. He's got the movement to get himself into that 80-foot range pretty much anywhere in the room, so.
Well, the room isn't big enough for him to kite you guys.
That was going to be my point. Again, given the format of the encounter being that you cannot avoid the encounter, you must complete the encounter. The monsters are locked into the same engagement. This is an arena fight. There is no way out of this arena.
Any other thoughts about Encounter 5?
No, this was a fun one.
Encounter 6. A couple of generic earth elementals, fire elementals. Caster has some casting to do. You guys were a relatively full gas tank and you needed to fix that. Don't venture out. These are melee attacks. Spread out versus fire. You guys didn't do that, but that's because the next line is Spirit Guardians. You pop Spirit Guardians, stayed in it. And then Dump Fly and pick something else. I don't think you did that. I don't think you went with a different spell, a different concentration spell eventually, right?
Yeah, I was looking, but I couldn't find anything that was really worth putting on apart from haste.
This one was almost anticlimactic.
A little bit, yeah, because it was It's less interesting than the Djinns and its melee attackers. What do you guys do in the 2 rounds that it takes them to get to you, right? Those are the tactics that are involved, and then it's just beat on them until they die. The other option for this dungeon was 5 Djinns, 1 encounter of all the different types of elementals, right? 1 water, 1 air, 1 fire, 1 earth. And then what is the 6th encounter? I didn't want to do 2 of the same thing, right? That would be boring. So we had to kind of split them up, but I could have kind of rearranged them so that they made a little more sense. The final encounter was more interesting, but
I mean, maybe throwing this one before the fire Djinn.
that would be the other option.
They follow into each other pretty well in both cases.
These could be the guardians for the Djinn. You're making ready his castle, or the Djinn's castle crumbles, and then you have to make your way out.
Either way, it was okay from a thematic thing. This actually drained more resources from the rogue personally on this fight than like any other fight in terms of raw damage, because you lit the rogue on fire, and I was like, I need to murder things and cannot take a turn to put this out.
Well, the thing is, you could. I was like, oh, he's going to use action on the water skin to douse himself. That's really clever. And he's just like, no, I'm going to throw it at the fire guy. Duh. Pokemon rules, man. What do you think?
To Fear's credit, like, I should have just shot him. Like, for all that work and all that cleverness, I should have just disengaged and shot him, because it would have been more damage.
Not a lot more damage, and it did seem intuitive at the time.
Totally planked on the fact that fire elementals aren't actually vulnerable to water.
Any other thoughts about the 6th encounter?
The only thing I would have did different was cast Shatter instead of Chain Lightning.
Yep. Oh, you're going to upcast it to
6th level, that's what I cast Chain Lightning at.
6th level, which will push you to, that's 4 levels above.
And it's Thunder based.
You're going to be dropping 7d8. You were throwing 10d8 as it was. Yeah, that would have been the right way to go. Maps. In the past, people have mentioned that they want maps that are larger. I think this is a good example of a large map doesn't matter that much, because you guys wound up fighting over just this square of it.
We could have definitely have used more of this map, especially if the enemy had been inclined to do at least early ranged attacks. We could have used more of that space. He came in close pretty fast, so we didn't really need to. But like, I would have loved to actually been able to engage this guy in more of the center of the map.
Yeah, I think if this guy didn't have Fly, this would have been a let's use more of the map type.
He had to come closer so that he can cast Wall of Fire. First of all, do we think Wall of Fire was the right move to open with?
Totally. No, nailed it. It's not going to last forever, but it's probably 2 solid damage rounds on most of us.
Yeah, I was expecting you guys to Dispel Magic it, but everyone's just like, yeah, we'll just get out of it.
I was expecting that too.
I think that one came down to initiative, or if the cleric was higher up, I think it probably would have happened, but
Do you not have Dispel Magic?
one that was not prep, no. Yeah, I took Counterspell over Dispel Magic.
He was out of range for the counterspell. He gets out to here, hits you with a wall of fire, and then you guys all jump out of it, and he's throwing fire at you and then button hooking. You're saying you would have had to run up to him, but you guys won't, right? The rogue and the wizard are going to just stand back and shoot him, and then the other 2 are going to close distance. I guess you're right. You're saying I could have turned them off, but then once Fly came up, it didn't really matter. Okay, so maybe I need to make more use of the map rather than charging at you. But again, I don't know. That +3 to hit and the extra damage seems like the smarter way to go, but maybe not. This map, obviously, if it had been any bigger, would have been even worse for you. That would have been problematic. This map, actually, this is the map that I think we made the most use out of. I was all the way over here. You were all the way over there. You guys traversed all the way along there. We had people across the top. And we had people in the middle, so it's not like you were just avoiding the middle part.
And we had people in the bottom.
Yeah, in the Z dimension, all the way through.
Yeah, we used the full vertical range.
You got a person as high up as you can go and a person down low as you can go. So this, I think, is the perfect size of map. I mean, I guess he kind of wanted to go like, well, if I can kite you even further out here, I will. But I thought this was the right amount of map to go for. Similar size, but again, we really only need about that much of it.
Like, we had more, and we had to respect that fact, considering that the enemy could move through the rock walls and we couldn't. He could have, forced us to run around through choke points more than he did. But as it was, he was coming to us just as much as we were coming to him.
In that situation, so their goal is they have to kill you. Do they have to come to you?
This guy could have definitely stayed in the walls.
If he doesn't want to fight you, he could just stays in the walls and you can never hit him. And then you just wander off with your day, right? To my thinking, he doesn't actually have a way to force you to come out to fight him. So he actually has to go to you to fight you. They can't force you to move around unless they have some sort of range attack that's going to get you out of there. Or they could summon people in here to make you like, okay, well, let's go kill the caster so that stops happening. But those resources are limited and this person doesn't have a ranged attack. So they don't really have a way of getting you out of a place that you want to be. When I say like we only use this much of the map, to demonstrate the tactics used, we only need this much of the map, right? like a path that you can move through and a path that you can't move through. And they're like, all right, I'm going to be over here. I'm going to come out. I'm going to attack. I'm going to go back to my sanctuary and attack next turn. It was only because this map was a little bit bigger. And there's like, okay, the rogue wants to run over there. You guys want to run down here. Going to block here. Going to take up some space. We actually want smaller maps. We just want smarter maps. Maps that are going to contain the elements that we want. And I would never disparage Seafoot Games. They don't know what we're using it for. But they have a lot of map element that we don't need for this. But I think it's kind of like you guys pick, like, okay, here's the area we're going to fight.
Depending on the enemy, there's definitely some value in at least having, 120-foot maps, because that's the kind of range that gets involved where the enemy has a spell that can reach, but the rogue can't from the far corner of the map. So, you can cut down a lot of it.
85-foot maps just out of the rogue's range.
Only if you want to be super nice to him.
Same thing with having the bigger map. It also allows to get out of counterspell range too for your casters.
Yeah, although I don't have many casters.
We've also done a lot of interior work at lower levels, inside of castles, underground, crypts and all. And these are some of the first sequential large open field maps that we've done. We've done a couple of them. But I don't think, it hurts to do some open field maps and some interiors.
Well, you weren't there for level 7. 4 out of the 5 were open field. But yeah, there's a couple that are more open. Any encounters that you guys enjoyed the most?
The third one was really fun.
What made this one fun?
The 2 levels, definitely. It felt like we could sort of pursue our tactics. The cleric hanging out on the top deck, dueling 2 elementals while we ran down on it. It felt like there was a lot of moving parts, which was nice.
I liked all of these except for that one. Pretty much these all had some sort of a challenge to them that we had to think a little bit more on.
You didn't like the one where you dropped 300 feet off to the ground? Okay.
Not the water one.
Somehow dropping 300 feet to the ground and dying is better than not doing anything. Got it.
Literally, it was like, all right, well, I'm going to go make coffee. These all had some sort of a element where you needed to think or strategy, like the boat. Hey, let's get below deck because we can't be thrown off. Thinking like that type thing throughout the whole thing, it seemed like.
Any tactics that you guys didn't get a chance to use that you wanted to, or saw an opportunity for me to use that we haven't already mentioned?
Not in particular.
I think the only thing that I brought up, the large fire elemental grapple.
Yeah, that one, or the swim through lava. That's it, I think, for level 11. Next one is Fear No Equal. You mentioned a lot of interior content, a lot of interior fighting through dungeons. It is half of the name of the game, Dungeons & Dragons, so it is not altogether surprising that you'll wind up fighting them. The next one is a diabolical cult. The characters have discovered the existence of a devil-worshipping cult in one of the towns in the area, and so they're going to go root out the devils there, and so that's where we're going to see them next time. Any other thoughts before we go?
As noted, Dungeons is half of the name, but we are a little short on dragons.
That's true. We've got 2 so far. Level 13 is a white dragon tundra. Level 17 is a red dragon mountain. So it looks like blue is the only thing we're not going to see in the starter set.
So we're due. That's good.
Level 13 is a white dragon tundra. So you got to get through level 12, and then level 13 you'll see an adult white dragon.
Don't worry, guys. I have a scroll of harm.
That's all for the encounters finding the djinns of the elemental planes. Next week we'll continue with level 12 and stopping the uprising of a diabolical cult. Thank you for stopping by. I'm Saracen Zero, and I hope to see you then.